Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hello, Potter Than Hellions. Welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is Steve, your host. I'm joined as always by
BC.
And tonight our keyboard player is
Dylan.
And we have a special guest tonight. He's here strictly as one of our buddies, just kind of hanging out with us, having a couple beers while we record. Mr. Skip Connor.
Thank you guys for the invite.
No problem, Skip. Hope you have a good time tonight. And Skip is one of our buddies in the fire department. He's a corrections officer for the federal government. He's an awesome guy and a faithful listener, so we figured we'd have him over tonight. And you didn't hear BB's name. Actually, BB ended up working tonight. One of our fellow firefighters, him and his wife had a baby this week. Congratulations, Mike and Don. So BB is working the night shift for him, and I work the day shift, so BB was my relief. Have a safe shift, BB. All right. Thanks for listening out there. We love all the feedback we're getting from you guys. We're getting a bunch of downloads. You guys are sharing it all over the place, interacting with us, checking out the videos we put out there. If you're a new listener, welcome. Hope you guys have a good time here. If you're a returning listener, thank you for listening. We love you guys. You can find us on any place you can pretty much find a podcast: iTunes, Google Play, Podchaser. We have a YouTube channel. If you take a couple minutes, go to Podchaser or iTunes or Facebook, give us a review. 5-star would be awesome. That helps us get our name out there with more podcasts that are of this type, and we really appreciate the feedback you guys give us. This is our year-end episode, so we're going to give you guys our top albums of the year, a bunch of top lists of stuff, songs, and you'll see when we get into it. It's going to be a fun episode. But before we get going, I want to do a year-end thank you of everybody, not of everybody, because the show would just be all fucking thank yous. But I want to start off thanking my co-hosts, BC, BB, Dylan. You guys fucking rock. You guys kick ass. My wife, Corey, for putting up with this stuff with us guys all the time. Sonny Pooney and Stephen Michael. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give a shout-out to all the co-hosts we've had throughout the year. And you guys are awesome, too. We love having you guys on here. It's always a blast. And we try to, make it more diverse by having other views on the show. I mentioned Sonny Pooney and Stephen Michael. Those guys are from the Grown Up Rock podcast. Rob Kelleher and Chris Granza. They're our go-to KISS guys that we've had on the episode. Ed Spangenberg that has done our graphics for us and also has the Click Tee Shop for the T-shirts that are KISS shirts, but they're not KISS shirts. Hint, hint. Carl Kennedy, Dave Borowski, David Hudson, and Chris Craig. They are from the Digital Kill the Radio Star podcast. Heather Shakaris, Jim Polkowski, Jen Roberts-Vena, Chris Sinzak from the Decibel Geek, Morris Manichetti, and Marie Zaccone that actually kind of makes this podcast possible for us. And thank you guys for all the support you've given us, all the listeners, and thanks for all the shares. What do you think, guys?
Year 2, and it couldn't have been done without everybody that was just listed and so many more, especially the fans, you guys, the listeners out there. Thank you for making this podcast possible.
Exactly. I mean, everybody out there, you're the reason we're doing this. I know we like the music. That's the real reason we're doing this. I think you covered the bases with everybody, and just say thanks for being there, guys.
Yeah, definitely, you guys. We appreciate it.
Stand by my side. I'll be next to you.
What we're going to do is we're going to do our albums of the year. What we're going to do is we're going to go from 10 down to 5, then we're going to do a little gem action, and then we'll do our top 5. Now, as far as my list goes, my top 6, or my bottom 6, I'll say, are not in any kind of order, okay? And but my 1, 2, 3, and 4, they are my solid 4. And what we did was we have a podcast pick because. Yeah. There's one album, and I'm sure you guys could probably guess what it's going to be very easily, that we will talk about that at the end that is, I think, we kind of decided it was going to be on everybody's list, so there's no sense of everybody naming it separately. Yeah.
And we have a bunch of other little surprises throughout the episode. Some, surprise albums, some best songs of the year, a lot of different kind of looking back at the yearbook type material. So you won't want to miss this episode that you're currently listening to that you're not missing. So
Right.
yeah,
So
that was a word vomit there.
Yeah, I hope you didn't shut it off 5 minutes ago.
No, I'll keep it in.
All right, but I messed up here, guys. I'm sorry. Before we get rolling on this, let's do a little bit of news. All right, this week from the Potter Than Hell news desk, a couple little items going on here, and apparently Ozzy Osbourne is backing off of his No More Tours tour. He's saying that
No More Tours 2 tour.
No More Tours 2 tour. He is apparently saying it should be called the Just Slowing Down tour or something like that. That he said he's not done touring, but he's done touring extensively, I guess.
I didn't think it was going to be his last tour anyways, because the fact that it's called No More Tours 2 tells you that he's done this before. He's going to probably do it again. So I wasn't really cemented to the idea that Ozzy was going to be done touring after this. So it's not a surprise to me.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys are just like pretty much just slowing down. So,
Yeah.
Hey, if he's out there playing, and he's always going to have great talent in the band, so, and it's always entertaining when he comes out and he has the hose and he sprays himself with it. So,
Yeah.
He's always entertaining. And like I said before, he's very charismatic live. I don't know, for some reason I didn't have really high hopes seeing him live. But then once I did, we saw him on Sabbath first, and then we just saw him this last year. It's just phenomenal. And actually, he's playing around here again somewhere, I think, in the summertime, and I'm seriously thinking of going again.
Is it still going to be Stone Sour opening? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't even know if they've announced that yet.
Okay.
But it'll be cool, though. Paul Stanley is recording a rhythm and blues album with his Soul Station project. What do you think, Dylan?
So is it going to be like a new Peter Criss album? Is that what I'm gathering from this?
I don't know. It's like when David Lee Roth, I think, was doing his lounge stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like that. I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, it's definitely not music, I don't think, in the higher range that the Kiss stuff is. But is he doing this because he doesn't think that he can do another Kiss album? I don't know. I think that he's using his art right now, I'm not going to say as an excuse, but another outlet for his creativity. And, he's really getting into this Soul Station thing. So maybe he's just, kind of lining up his ducks for when the Kiss tour is done. But, I mean, that's going to be a couple years down the road.
It'll be interesting to hear, absolutely, because I don't know if there's some soul in some of the stuff that Paul sings in Kiss, but I don't know if I ever pegged him as a rhythm and blues singer of sorts. So it'd be interesting to hear his voice transition from rock god to R&B person.
Yeah, I can honestly say I have not listened or watched one single Soul Station thing that he's done. I know there's stuff on YouTube and everything. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a look at it, but I'm not. I'd rather see a Kiss album, but
It's cool that he's still
What are you gonna
putting
do?
something out
yeah,
for people.
yeah, I guess. So, that's that. Will he be using backing tracks? Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
But at least he's doing something. I just wish the Kiss would release something, just like when Crew, when they were getting done, they put out the song "Sex." I wish Kiss would just kind of do something like that. Throw an EP out there. Throw just a new song out there.
Now let me ask you something. Is this Soul Station, are they like rhythm and blues covers, or are they original songs?
No, I think they're covers.
Okay,
Well,
so that's...
he does covers, and it didn't sound like it wasn't going to be an original music project. It sounded like he was
Okay.
just going to be recovering like the rhythm and blues standards, I guess you would call them.
So maybe he is just out of musical ideas to write music, and he still wants to perform it, but he doesn't really want to make new music.
I don't know. I want to see some rock stuff from Paul. Rhythm and blues, like R&B stuff, not for me. The guys from Rush, apparently, I think it was Geddy Lee that just said that Neil Peart is not retiring from touring, he's retiring from drumming.
Retiring from drumming.
Yes, retiring from drumming. Apparently, he said that his body's failing. I mean, God, the guy's in his 60s too. He's got to be, and it's not like he's like I said it before. He's not like he's Charlie Watts in the Stones, where it's just
Yeah, the ones and twos.
one and a two and a three. So sad, but you can't ask much more out of a guy than he's given over the years.
Yeah. If you watch Time Stands Still, the recent Rush documentary back in 2016, maybe 16 or 17, you see during that last R40 tour that he was really not doing well physically. It was kind of taking its toll on him. So I can absolutely understand why he would want to retire from drumming. It's a very physically involving instrument, and once you lose one part of it, it's tough to make up with the other parts.
Yeah, and he drums 10 times more in his show than like some drummers drum in like a week. So,
Absolutely.
It's sad, very sad. But let me ask you this: would you be interested in Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson doing something else with someone else?
I would be if they didn't call it Rush.
I was hoping you'd say that.
And I know they wouldn't, because they've
No, they
said
wouldn't do
that
that.
Rush is the three of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, it would be cool if they continued doing music. Like, I know Geddy Lee has a solo album out, and he's just put out the Big Bad Book of Bass or whatever it was.
Right.
So it'd be cool to have them continue playing their instruments, but it wouldn't be Rush, and I think they know that as well.
Yeah, as long like you said, I was hoping you'd say that. As long as they do not call it Rush, and so best of luck, Neil. Hey, thank you for all the years of kick-ass
Absolutely.
drumming, and enjoy your retirement, because I know you listen to the show.
Yeah. You've inspired a lot of drummers out there, and your style is just phenomenal. So
Definitely.
you earned it.
Yeah, and I did find out that all of the guys from Def Leppard that I had hoped would be inducted into the Hall of Fame are being inducted into the
Okay.
Hall of Fame.
That's what
so
I
you're
thought.
gonna have Pete Willis, Steve Clark. You're gonna have Vivian Campbell and Rick Savage and Joe Elliott and Rick Allen. So you're gonna have the whole gambit from everyone that played on all the Def Leppard albums. So you have the guys from On Through the Night, High and Dry. Then you have the Steve Clark era. Well, still the Steve Clark era up until I think Adrenalize was maybe the last album he was on, maybe, and then Vivian Campbell after that. So finally they did something right. And but good for you guys. Congratulations again. Dylan, you got something for us.
I just found on my Facebook news feed yesterday, we're recording this on Sunday, December 23rd, Festivus, so happy Festivus to everybody that celebrates, that Ace Frehley's Comet Band is forming their own group called Return of the Comet. So you have John Reagan on bass, Todd Howarth on guitar and lead vocals, Richie Scarlett, the legend,
the emperor of rock and roll,
on guitar and lead vocals as well. So it looks like they'll be trading off. And Steve Budgie Werner on drums. So they'll be touring. I believe they announced a date for April in Pennsylvania somewhere. So that'll be interesting.
It'll definitely be interesting. I would go to that show. As I've said before, I'm not a huge Richie Scarlett fan. I think he's tries to just be the guy on stage, which
Yeah.
But it's interesting. But I wonder if does this mean the end of 4 Fate?
I don't know. John Reagan's been pretty good balancing his acts. I know, specifically him. So I feel like they'll keep going. Maybe they'll take a break while he
I hope
does
so.
this.
Because 4 Fate played the pre-show, the pre-party before the Kiss Cruise this year, and they were great. I thought they were excellent. They sounded great. Their songs are friggin' phenomenal. And they threw in some Frehley's Comet stuff. They did Something Moved, and Breakout. I think they did a couple other ones. But I mean, great band. I can't wait to. I think this is going to be interesting. I wonder if they'll record. I'm not familiar with the drummer guy, that Budgie guy.
He apparently was in, I believe.
Says he was in Frehley's Comet or
Yeah, he was in
Ace's band at some point.
The
but
the bands he's listed under are Ace Frehley Band, Leslie West, and Hindenburg. So those are the groups that he
the
performed
humanity.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it'll definitely be interesting. There'll be some more stuff out there, and it's funny because now you have Kiss, and you have Paul doing the Soul Station stuff. You had Gene doing his Gene Simmons solo band, which is now the Ace Frehley solo band, and Ace is out there doing stuff. I would hope to see that the time is made available for Bruce Kulick to get the guys
Oh,
together.
I thought you were going to say Peter Chris.
I was getting to him.
Okay.
Bruce Kulick to get Brent and Todd and Zach Throne that did played the bass on the Kiss Cruise with those guys, and I'll tell you what, those guys were phenomenal. I would pay decent money to go see those guys again. They were just phenomenal, and they just totally kicked out all the gems you wanted from the '80s Kiss. I just would hope that they would delve into some songs also from Lick It Up and Animalize.
Well, I mean, I know that Bruce didn't play on those two albums, so maybe that's why he wants to give it some wide berth.
But Bruce came in Kiss on the Animalize tour, so he played those songs.
Yeah, I maybe it's he doesn't want to step on anybody's toes and doing songs that he himself hasn't had a hand in writing.
I don't think they care. I think the guys in Kiss, especially Paul Stanley, will be happy that they don't have to be doing them.
I can see where you're coming from with that. I just think Bruce has a little more integrity in terms of that. Like, he'll probably be like, I don't want to play any Mark St. John stuff or Vinnie Vincent stuff because that's their material. I want to play my material that I gave birth to and do it justice.
I think you'll see them do some of the stuff.
I
That's
mean,
just my
maybe
opinion. I
it
hope
could
so.
be, but
That's it for the news this week. Thank you, and back to the show. All right, let's get right into our picks. Dylan, you know what? Give us your number 10.
Okay. And I will also be reading off BB's number 10, his list as we go as well. But I'll start off with my pick. My number 10 album is an album that actually, I think Chris Craig brought this to our attention from the Digital Killed the Radio Star podcast. It's Deaf Heaven with Ordinary Corrupt Human Love. This is one of the most unique albums I've heard in a very long time. It has almost like Pink Floyd instrumentals with really dark screamo vocals that are off into the background a bit. The first song is absolutely a beautiful piece of music that really got me emotional listening to it. I was very verklempt, if you will, listening to this first song. But the rest of the album
You were
is
what?
just verklempt.
Verklempt?
It's a reference to that one skit from Saturday Night Live. It's like butter. No, not that.
Is that an actual word or no?
It might be.
Oh, all right. Well, because if it's an actual word, Sonny and Steven could use that as their word of the day on their podcast.
Yeah.
For Klimt.
Like the.
I thought that was another band or something.
No, the first song, "You Without End," is probably my favorite on there. But I mean, Honeycomb, Canary Yellow, Night People, they're all really amazing songs. So I had to give this unique album a spot on my top 10 list of the year because it made me think of some stuff that I never really think about it listening to music, and it took me out of my comfort zone and brought me into a whole new realm. So Deaf Heaven with Ordinary Corrupt Human Love, number 10.
Yeah, definitely an interesting album. Dylan and I listened to that when we were in Virginia on vacation this summer. Actually, I think we listened to it the day after we recorded the episode down there.
I believe so.
And it's definitely different. BC and I listened to it. He can get his thing on this in a minute. It's different. It's whatever album you have in mind. This is different from it. The music is cool. It's interesting, but like if you pull it up on iTunes, like the lyrics come up, but like you can't even tell that that's what they're singing. It's not Cookie Monster. It's like.
Yeah, it's
like
weird.
it's weird, but there's like some kick-ass music on it. There's like some kind of back and forth, like kind of melodic kind of stuff, and then there's some cranking stuff. It's probably the most diverse album that anybody's gonna pick this year.
It's very unique
Yeah.
sounding.
So Chris, thanks. I still don't know whether I love it or hate it.
Yeah, and it's one of those. It's that kind of album. You
Yeah.
either absolutely are enamored with it, or you couldn't care less about it.
I'm in between though. I'm like I don't know if I love it or hate it, but it's definitely interesting.
I don't know what to think about this, man. I put it on, it comes on, I'm like, okay, and like I said, I have it written down here, very weird, but I like the first track.
The first track is really
but
good.
the quotation vocals.
Their vocals.
They're low though.
They're very,
They're like
low in the
understated in there.
very low,
Yeah.
and like you said, I'm like, what am I listening to something backwards or something?
It kind of sounds like in like horror movies,
Yeah,
like when the creepies are talking or something like that, you know.
But I like it because it
different.
contrasts
It is.
with the music. Like it's such a different.
And like you said, there's parts of it like, oh, cool, and then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, what the fuck?
Yeah, it goes
was-
places you do not expect it to go.
Yeah.
It was a
And
roller
so if you
coaster.
guys out there, if you're looking for something different to listen to, if you're like, I'm sick of listening to the same shit all the time,
Check
throw
that.
this album on. It's
Different.
it's a good listen. It is. It's different. You're gonna be rocking at times. You're gonna be scratching your head quite a bit, going, "What the fuck is this?" But it's interesting. Very cool. All right, cool. Good pick, Dylan. Now, BC, what's your now? Do you have any order, or you just? I know what.
Throwing them out there.
My whole list consists of Lizzy Borden and all the reissues. Had to get that out there.
So is only your number one like set in stone?
Maybe let's say my top four.
Top four, okay.
After that, I guess
Mine were all
They're
in
just
order,
in
by
there.
the way.
they're just in there. There's no real order. I'm going to start off with the band I was really into years ago, and I kind of got away from it. And then this year, this came out in Seven Dust. All I See Is War. I mean, I forgot how much I liked Seven Dust until I put this on. And I didn't even hear it even came out until it was already out for
For a while.
a while. Are you familiar with Seven Dust?
Yeah, I know Seven Dust. I
Steve?
grew up in the 2000s.
Yeah. I listened to yeah. He grew up in the '90s.
Skip, I know, is a diehard Seven Dust fan.
He's got a Seven Dust tattoo on his right cheek,
But
on his face.
I mean, it sounds like Medicated and Sickness. I mean, they're like theme songs for me. But here's a band, I guess, Morgan, I'm drawing a blank on his again.
I don't know his name. I know who you mean, the singer. He reminds me of Predator.
He's Predator.
Freeman.
But the drummer, Morgan, why do I want to say Freeman?
He's not driving Miss Daisy. No.
Morgan Freeman.
Anyways, I just love the way he sings it and the drummer screams it in the background.
It's
like,
Morgan Rose.
Rose, I knew it.
Axel's cousin.
Axl
Yes.
Rose's cousin from his father's side.
Yeah, I gave the album a listen. I'm like BC. I didn't realize it was out, so I didn't really get a chance to really check it out.
No.
But there is some good stuff on there. Unforgiven was a song, and Not Original was the two songs that kind of stood out for me.
I love his voice.
I liked it. It wasn't my favorite out of your list, I think. It seemed very par for the course with a lot of their music.
Because I got away from him. And
Yeah. But it's a good album. I like the cover too. The cover's really cool. Yeah, it wasn't my favorite from yours, but it was a pretty decent album.
Okay, all right. I'll go with mine. Like I said, no order until I get down to the top four. I'm gonna go with, and actually, I just discovered this band like a week ago. Well, this album, this band has had a ton of shit out before, I guess, that I never really was a band that I never really got around to checking out, and I was just this week so sick of listening to everything 100 times that are for our picks, so I can kind of be familiar with everything. And I just saw this album was out. I picked it up. And it's Treat, and I hate when bands have fucking album titles or band titles that I don't really know how to pronounce it. It's I'm gonna say it's Tunguska is the album title, but it's great. The singer sounds excellent. They're kind of updated, kind of 80s classic rock sounding band. Like a hybrid between like metal and I don't want to say hair band because I hate that fucking term. But it's a really good album. Fucking songs like Best of Enemies, Heart Math City is friggin' excellent, and Creeps, just to name a few. But it's a great album. It's nothing different. Nothing. They're not reinventing the wheel or anything like that. But it's just a really really good rock album. The solos are friggin' scorching on it.
I agree. I mean, I have a CD of these guys probably from like 15 years ago, it seems like.
Yeah,
Has
I
to
mean,
be-
they've been
has
out
to be-
forever. They've been out forever. They were just someone I never really got a
That was
chance
the
to
early
check
90s,
out.
and I had it, and then when you mentioned it the other day, I was like, oh, wait a minute, that sounds like, and I was trying to find it online, and like I said, they have a lot of albums out, and I threw it on, and it's like, I think it's the same band, because that guy has a distinctive voice
Yeah.
to me, and then I love the guitars and everything. Built for Love, and maybe Best of Enemies, clearly stated.
Kind of stick out.
I wish I had more of a chance to listen to it. I really didn't get too much time to listen to it because you threw it off the last minute. And I love when we have the last minute albums because it tells you how good an album is if it makes your list like right at the end.
Right at the bottom.
Right, and it catches you right away. And this was one that caught me right away. And but I really enjoyed it. Dylan, what's your next pick?
Should I say BB's first?
Yeah.
His number 10?
Well, actually, why don't we do 5 and then we'll give BB's 5.
Okay, we can do that. My number 9 pick is a band I had no idea about before I started this year. I literally just found them out. They're pretty good. I believe actually this is their debut album, so no wonder I didn't find them out beforehand. But the band is called The Cruel Intentions, and the album is No Sign of Relief. Now, the lead singer sounds like a combination of Jeff Keith from Tesla and Tame Me Down from Faster Pussycat to me. But the key thing about this album, and this album has a lot of awesome rockin' tracks, like Reckoning is really good. Go Fuck Yourself is also great. Chaos in a Bombshell. But the guitar work in this album is scorching. Amazing, just fast, awesome solos. Really good gang vocals as well on this album, and I love awesome gang vocals. They reminded me of Faster Pussycat a little bit with the gang vocals at times. Maybe because I was thinking Tame Me Down from the lead singer. But it's a really good, just straightforward sleaze rock album that made my list when I was looking through iTunes. So The Cruel Intentions, No Sign of Relief, number 9 with a bullet.
I agree. I mean, out of your list, this is probably in the top 3, definitely. Because I listened to a few other picks, I was like, and I put this one.
Yeah,
I was like, ooh, and then like you said, a guitar
Refreshing.
It has a good raw sound. Like you know, like some songs that stuck out to me was Everyone Riot and Go Fuck Yourself. I seem to like songs like that, but I mean, just like you said, guitar work is good, and I was trying to listen to vocals, and I couldn't. And then now that you mentioned that, I'm like, okay, I can see that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It didn't blow me away. But there's some good stuff on there. It does, like Dylan was right there. There are some scorching guitar solos on there, and I hear Tame Me Down in his voice, but I don't equate Jeff Keith in there. There's someone else that I can't quite put my finger on.
Yeah, I was literally spending like 10 minutes being like,
and
who does this singer remind me
I still
of?
couldn't get that. But songs like Check Your Head, Borderline Crazy, Sick Adrenaline are freaking great. Of course, BC's favorite song, Go Fuck Yourself. Good stuff though. It's a good rock album. I
It's
think
a nice palate
it's great.
cleanser after
It's not
Jeff
metal. It's just a straightforward, good old rock band.
Yeah, it's a good palate cleanser after Death Heaven for you.
Yeah, definitely. All right, BC, what do you got next?
I'm gonna go with kind of a new band, supposedly a super group, Dream Child. Until Death Do We Meet Again with Greg Goldie, Simon Wright, Rudy Sarzo, Diego Valdez, vocalist, and Wayne Fidley from MSG fame. But here's a guy that sounds just like Ronnie James Dio. I mean, I saw the first video and I kind of caught my ear. Then I listened to the album. I was like, as soon as you put it on, I was like, I love the vibe, the music. I'm a music person. The vocals are background to me on some songs, but as soon as this comes on, the music grabs you. At least it grabs me.
I thought it was a fantastic. What song stand out for you? I'm sorry, BC.
Under the Wire, like Midnight Song, which is the one. I think that's the one that you Can't Take Me Down. I like it. Just has that good feel.
Yeah, I like it. This album to me is like Dream Evil Part 2.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like if you extended Dream Evil into another full album, and it might even be twice as long as Dream Evil because it's a long album. But it's got that great sound. If you guys are familiar with the project that Craig Goldie did, also Resurrection Kings,
that was good too.
Same vibe, and I think this is the closest that you're going to get to Dio.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, literally, I put this album on and the vocals kick in. I'm like, holy shit. It's like I'm listening to a Lost Dio album. Like, that was literally the thing I was thinking of. A lot of really good songs on here. I didn't get a chance to listen to the full album, but what I heard, I really enjoyed. And this is definitely going to be a band to watch if they keep at it.
I was never a Craig Goldie fan in Dio. Mm-hmm. But, like, Resurrection Kings and this band, I mean, I think is playing. I don't know, I have a whole new respect.
Yeah, and I love the name of the band, too, because it does evoke that Dio-esque.
Dio Dream Child.
Yeah. Like, you get that, like, it could be a song that he scrapped. Like, it was a really good pick. I liked it better than Seven Dust, I'll say. Seven Dust was okay, though, but I like Dream Child a lot better.
Yeah, good, definitely great pick, BC. My next pick is going to be a tie. I can't. I have to break the rules. I'm waiting. I did a little early tonight. This one's a tie, and
Go ahead.
okay.
Go ahead.
I just look at all the head shaking here. The first one of my tie for the next spot is going to be "Reach for the Sky." Chris Granza, our frequent host on the show, guest host with us, has a band called Reach for the Sky, and they started out as a Social Distortion tribute band, and then they put an album of all original songs together. It's just a great rock, bordering on punk album. It's got some great songs on there. Not Reach for the Sky, I'm sorry. The song that stands out for me is Peace of Mind on there. Chris, you guys are excellent. Actually, at some point in the upcoming year, we're going to have Chris and the whole band come up, and we're going to do something a little different for an episode with those guys. And then the other one that is tied with this one is our buddy Mark Anthony Kay's Project Gemini, Man of Science, Man of Dreams. And we had Mark on the show a couple episodes ago, and it's just a fantastic album. And it's not higher up because I haven't had as much time to absorb it, but it's definitely deserves to be in that area.
Mm-hmm. I had the honor of playing both of these bands on the radio back when I was a DJ at Marywood. Technically you spun the Project Gemini track, but
I did.
I allowed you to be in the studio, so technically,
okay.
I had a
it was
hand
fun.
in that.
It was great. On Vinyl Record Store Day last year, we did a radio. Dylan and I did an hour radio show at his college. It was cool.
Yeah, and both of these albums are phenomenal. Mark really outdoes himself with Man of Science, Man of Dreams. The one-track Secret Science really blew my mind when I first listened to it. And Reach for the Sky, Peace of Mind was the track that I really loved in that too. Just a really good, straightforward, inspired by Social Distortion kind of band. And you can really hear that vibe.
Absolutely.
But they make it their own, which is really great.
I think it's a cross between Social Distortion and the Ramones.
I can hear a little.
I get that vibe in
bit.
there.
Oh, definitely. Two albums. Friends of ours, and they put this out, and I always heard the band's Social Distortion, but never heard them until after I listened to this album, and then now, like you said,
You
the
go
Ramones,
back and you get
there's
that vibe.
a lot more Ramones. I feel more Ramones than.
Yeah, I'm
Depending
not a
on the
big
song, I
social.
think. No,
I'm not a big Social
seen
Distortion guy
Ramones.
myself.
Gee, Ramones.
Yeah.
And I put that on, and I like it.
It's good.
You
It's
throw
just
it
an
on
album you
and-
can throw on and listen to all the way through.
Yeah. And it's over before you know it.
Yeah, it is. It's a
Isn't
short
it?
album, but you know what? We talked about this many times on the podcast that it's great when you have an album that leaves you wanting more.
Yeah.
And some albums are long, and sometimes you're like you can be shortened by about like 3 or 4 songs. But this one, you're like, wow, it's over. That was good. I think I'll listen to it again. Bang.
Well, and Mark's albums are really nice and
Mark's albums,
the
and too,
perfect length.
they're a great length, and they keep you interested. You don't start to wander through the songs,
Yeah.
and especially with Mark's, the time changes in the songs are so good and so interesting.
Yeah.
And I think both of these bands put out a great project this
Absolutely.
year, and they're doing their own thing. They're their own. Recording all their own stuff and everything. There's no, outside help with either one of these projects.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan, what do you got up next?
My number 8 pick last year. My number 1 pick was a thrash album. Power Logic, I believe, was the band. That was an amazing album. And this year, I of course have to keep the thrash metal alive. So I'm going with Hatchet. Is the band, and the album is Dying to Exist. Really good. It reminds me of almost like classic Testament at times. Really good, straightforward thrash metal. Has the politically charged lyrics about genocide and oppression, and there's a song about Warsaw. So it's just a good old fashioned bash your head in thrash album. I love the opening instrumental, Unraveling Existence. That's a song you could have picked for best instrumental during our debate episode,
Yeah.
and you might have won against me because it's a really good instrumental that does a really great amount of things within that short time frame that leads right into Silent Genocide. But it's a great album if you're into thrash metal, a band to definitely check out. Hatchet with Dying to Exist, number 8.
Yeah, it's a little bitter pill for me to swallow on this one, but
A little extreme for BC.
a little extreme, but not
Really?
too bad. But the vocals are losing me.
Oh, come on. They're classic thrash vocals.
Oh, no, I don't mean vocally, but like, and Illusions of Hope I liked. For some reason that
was good.
I listened to it twice, and I always like that one. But I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just
Not for you.
not for me.
It's not for BC.
And these aren't even the harshest vocals I have on my list.
No, it's not.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
They're pretty tame, actually.
I semi enjoyed this album. I think it needs to grow on me a little more. I didn't get enough time to spend with it to really absorb it in. Some couple songs that caught my Final Sanctuary was a cool song. Descent into Madness was another cool one there. I think it's for me, this album is a grower, not a shower. I think it just needs to grow on me a little bit. But
and I
nonetheless, cool though.
I can understand.
I'm a
because-
mood person, so
Yeah.
maybe
maybe
if I'm in a different mood, I'd be like, oh.
I was just about to say that. Like, sometimes you have to be in the right mood for thrash.
God,
I'm
yeah.
always in the mood for thrash. So that album just hit me the first time I heard it. So I can understand that, guys. No worries. I have some stuff to say about some other albums, so it's okay.
Okay. BC, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Boys, and here's a band because like Judas Priest, Maidens, they keep getting better and better. I think Saxon with Thunderbolt came out early this year. I always thought it was last year. That's how long ago it came
I
out.
know. It feels like
Came
it,
out,
doesn't it?
came out in February.
We got to see him March.
March.
Unfortunately, they were opening up for Judas Priest, and the sound man was out on a hot dog break or something because the sound was just
Not great, Bob.
not 100%. But hey, they still came out and they ripped it up. And I mean, here's an album. And Biff, because I mean, here's a guy that's
He's almost 70. He's got to be. He's got to be up there.
they've been around. I mean, here's a band just
I
to
think
me.
79 was the first Saxon album.
There's not too many bands out there that I just go.
If not 70, he's in his early. He's in his 60s at least.
I mean, 60s, early 60s, but I think he's getting better and better. Every track in his, I mean, except for that one. But
This is a great album, and when we talked a couple minutes ago about the playing the Project Gemini and Reach for the Sky on the radio, I played a song from the Thunderbolt album on vinyl on Dylan's radio show.
Yep.
I played Speed Merchants, and I can guarantee you that was the only time that song hit the airwaves in northeastern Pennsylvania. And it is a fantastic album. It rocks from beginning to end. Saxon is, you're totally right, BC. It's a band that I think just keeps getting better and better. The songs rock. The musicianship is friggin' fantastic. It's just a great album. I personally like Secret of Flight and Speed Merchants the best on the album. I think it's just a great album. And it should be on many, many, many lists out there.
Yeah. Biff is 67 years old. That's how old he is currently.
Jesus, God bless him.
This was the first year that I got to see Saxon live, and unfortunately it was a truncated set because of the sound guy.
Yeah.
But this album kicks ass. The song Nosferatu is the one for me. I just love how moody it is, and it has a really awesome kick in towards like the middle to have a really awesome solo. But this album front to back is a testament to how Saxon has kept going throughout the years and has managed to be a powerhouse in the new wave of British heavy metal.
Stay at
and
top of
just
their game.
Managed to continue to put out amazing material. And you can go back and listen to our Saxon episode for some deeper tracks from a lot of their older stuff if you'd like to. But this album is a really good album to start with Saxon if you haven't listened to them before.
All right, cool. I'm up next.
Yep.
And this is a band, I talked about them a couple episodes ago. Just recently found out about these guys, and they've been out for years. Another band that I have no idea how I missed these guys.
I feel like you've said this already, but
I know, but it's crazy though. And the band is called Stryker, and it's Play to Win is the album. Just fantastic. This is an album, unlike the Hatchet album. And I'm not busting on it, but this album just hit me.
well, fuck you too.
This album just hit me right away. It was like, holy shit. This band has a lot of the elements that I really like. It's got dual guitars. It's got some great ripping solos. The vocals are fantastic. There's a lot of very melodic background vocals, and it's just a fantastic album. Songs like Head First, On the Run, Heavy as the Heart, and even the title track, Play to Win, is just great. It's an excellent album. If you guys like melodic hard rock, bordering, there's some songs that you could consider metal, but they're pretty much a borderline band like that. Check these guys out. They fucking rock.
Yeah, I put this album on, and I was like, holy shit, how have I not heard of these guys before? There's a couple albums, actually, that I listened to from you guys that blew me away. I was like, how have I never put these guys on the turntable or on the iPod? But yeah, Heart of Lies is a really great opening number that just shows you what this band can do. And I'm definitely going to keep looking out for these guys' music and go back to their back catalog because this album kicks ass.
Yeah, they have a bunch of stuff out.
I remember you came into work and said, hey, you got to check these guys out. Like you said, boom, she's put out. It's like, I'm like, wow. Like,
Right out of the gate.
and like you said, you never heard them before. It's like, how do you not hear these guys? Like, even overseas festivals, they should be playing. You should have heard
I
of
know,
them.
and
somewhere.
they're from Edmonton, Canada.
Canada. See, Canada always keeps rocking.
We love you guys in Canada.
Canada, eh?
Canada, eh? But very good, very good. Like you said, sometimes get a little metal, but
Mostly
overall,
melodic hard
Melodic
rock
hard
album.
rock.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Dylan, what do you got up next?
guitar driven.
My number 7 pick is a band that I first heard on the radio. It was either 97.9 or I heard it on Octane when I was in the car with Carson, my brother. Blew me away. I was like, I need to look out for these guys because it was the first single they had released, and they hadn't put out the album at that point. So I kept looking on iTunes. I'm like, okay, when's this album coming out? And it finally came out, and it managed to make my top 10 list. The band is Dead Girls Academy with the album Alchemy. The first song I heard was I'll Find a Way. That was the song they released out to the public before the album came out, and I was floored by that song, and the rest of the album is just as good as it. It's a very modern rock. It's Dead Girls Academy with Alchemy. Thank you for paying attention. It's a very good like modern rock album. Some really cool. Shows you where the genre's going. Good vocals, BC. I hope you could agree. They're not screamo, at least, right?
No.
So. Yeah, I was really blown away by these guys. Very modern sound, I'll say, to describe it, if I had to sum it up. But, yeah.
I was going to agree with you. Yeah, it's modern and not knocking it. Just, I mean, I'm almost 50 years old, so overall, I could listen to it. Like you said, maybe it's a grower, not a shower. But not bad. I like the song and everything, but it has an element that wasn't really catching me. But overall, it's not bad. I mean, I can see where people nowadays. I mean, people looked at us back when we were kids, probably going, "What the hell are these guys listening to?"
All right. Well, my thoughts on this album.
No, I know he likes it.
Fucking awesome. fucking kick-ass fucking album.
He sent me a text. Dead Girls Academy kicks ass.
It kind of caught me like the My Chemical Romance album for some reason. It was one of them. I'm like,
This is the vocalist that was in that different band. It started this band, right? Vampire type.
Maybe. Let me see.
I've listened to so much music.
I don't know, but keep going.
Okay,
Keep going.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was blown away by this album. I liked it from the get-go. It's got some friggin' great guitar work in it, and I like a little bit of aggressive, kind of screaming vocals every now and then. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great pick, and like I said, I wasn't expecting a whole lot from. Thinking, I don't like the name. Kind of sounds stupid, but it's a great album. I love it. Like. I can't feel a thing is friggin' great, and Too Late is phenomenal. I front to back, it's a great album.
Yeah,
I would absolutely recommend it.
Yeah, he was in Vampires Everywhere, which is a band that I never really checked out as much, but they were definitely around in my sphere.
Look at BC doing his homework on these guys.
Yeah, that was...
Wow, look at you.
I knew it was one of these, like I said, there's so much stuff we listen
I know,
to.
it's insane. It's insane. BC, what do you got next?
Let's go with Roxanne with Radio Silence. I know Steve's not a fan of this, but here's a band that came out in they got mid-'80s and put out an album in 1988, and here's their second album 30 years later. But overall, I mean, it's not going to be a hard rocking album like the first one was, so to say, because what the hell, they're 30 years later. But good songs. I love the lyrically, and this is definitely a grower, so you got to give it some more love. Girls All Right, Someone to Kill, Super Bad, which has George Lynch.
The video for that's
on
awesome.
guitar. And what's the other one? Go Fuck Yourself is a song with
Another one.
Another Go Fuck Yourself song. So, yeah, I like these songs. And help me out, the guy from King's X, Doug
Pinnick.
Thank you. He's on that one.
Yeah, his voice is right out front
His
on
voice
that
is
song.
right on that one. But then I Don't Want to Live This Way. It's just, at first I heard it, I was like, okay. But it's definitely a grower in my book. In the last 3-4 months, I just keep playing it.
I don't hate it. I liked the first part of the album, and it kind of started to lose me. It has the song "Man in the Moon" on there, which was on the Scream album, but BC and I did a little research, actually mostly BC, that the guy that
Jamie Brown.
is on the band is like the guy that co-wrote the song. So
Scott Travis.
yeah, Scott Travis. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't, like I said, like BC said, it's got to grow on me a little bit. It's just one of them. The first part of the album caught me, but then they started to lose me a little bit. So I will definitely give it another shot.
I only listened to the first part of the album, so I was blown away by it.
I love it.
The first track, I was like, okay, I'm not really digging it. But then once the track kept going, I was really starting to get into it. I'm like, oh my God, why did I not like this song to start? Because
damn it.
it really works. But yeah, I really enjoyed when I listened to it. When I heard you say that my dad didn't like it, I'm like, what are you talking about? Because
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't
that
catch
was
me.
one of the ones that blew me away.
Really?
Actually, yeah. I haven't listened to the whole album, so maybe it'll be the same with, the back half of the album. But for what I heard, I was like, wow, this is really good. I kept hearing you talk about Roxanne because I kept making the "you don't have to put up the red light" joke.
If you want to
but-
rock out, it's probably not the album for to do. But if you just want to enjoy some
good tunes.
Good,
good
yeah, it was
tunage
good.
and
I will listen to it again. I'll
maybe
give it
you can
another
start
shot.
saying
I'll
some
give it
good
another
things
shot at
about
the title. All right, my next pick is a band that I am. BC and I are friends with the singer. The singer's name is Frankie Cross, and the band is called Corners of Sanctuary, and the album is called The Galloping Hordes. Just a great, straightforward metal album. Excellent. And this album came out, I believe it was August, and BC and I have been friends with Frank since
school.
like high school, like early high school. Did he graduate with you, BC? I think he was like maybe
he was
2 years younger than me, or the year younger.
he
I'm
either
not sure.
graduated with me or
Or the year after.
a year after or before.
Okay. Well, anyway, he's right around our age, so we don't
Again,
need to have
that
a big
was
age
10
discussion
years
here.
ago.
But I'll tell you what, I put this album on. I was listening to it. I was out on my porch one night, one of the few nice nights that we had this fucking summer, and I could sit out on my porch and have a couple beers and listen to some music. And I texted him. I'm like, holy shit! I'm just listening to the new album. It is kick ass. And I told him that night. I said, this album is going to make my top 10 of the year. And it's just straightforward metal album. If you like bands like Man of War, Hammerfall, it's in that type of vein kind of music. Songs like Hail, Hail, If You Dare, The Bitter End, and the title track, Galloping Hordes. It's just a great, straightforward, kick your ass metal album. It's not hard rock, it is a metal album, and it is fucking excellent.
I love the way it just comes on with the build up and then it kicks in the Galloping Hordes. I like Encaged, Enslaved, or Die. Hail Hail is good. I mean, it's just, like you said, good.
There's not a skip around there for me.
There's not a skip around it. You just put it on and like you said, you find yourself just... I like when you put something on and you're not like,
Right, you're waiting for a good part of the song to come. It's just right straight through.
Doing something, enjoying it. And like I said, I got to see these guys maybe 3 years ago.
Probably. I wasn't
Down
there.
at Tomatoes. They opened up for another local band. Said it was great.
Of course, another night I was freaking working.
I like the music of it a lot. I didn't like the production.
No.
I thought it was. I don't know what it was about the production that wasn't clicking with me. I thought the music was great. Like you could tell these guys are really talented musicians and everything like that. But the production was not to my ear. Not tuned to my ear. I guess you could say.
Okay. All right. Well, what's your next pick, Tom?
My next pick, number 6, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, number 6. This is a band that I've been hearing about for a long time. They are huge across the pond in England. And actually, this is the first album that they've had since the passing of their main songwriter and guitarist from skin cancer last year. And actually, I think it was 2 years ago. and they had to make this album without him. And actually, his brother, the drummer, wrote most of the lyrics for this album. So it's a very emotionally open album. It's Holy Hell by Architects. This is another album I'm sure BC is not going to be a fan of, but I think the clean vocals are really impactful on this album. I think there is a lot of Cookie Monster-ish at times, but I think the clean vocals really have this emotional effect to them. Some of the lyrics are really impactful. Like in Hereafter, can I come up for air because I've been living without. It's really wow, this is some deep stuff, and you can tell that they're coming from this open place, and it's still a rockin' album, and there is some hope inside it as well. The light at the end of the tunnel. So it's an album that rocks, but also gives you the feels. Architects, Holy Hell, BC.
I'm trying.
No,
I'm
I know.
really trying. But I don't know. I have doubt not feeling it.
I figured,
But
I'm sure it's not
like
going to
I
be the
said,
last album on this list.
in my defense here on all this stuff here, maybe you just need more time.
Yeah. It's a metalcore album, by the way, everybody.
It's yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. No, none of these bands on here, none of these albums are not great.
Just not to your tastes.
Not to my taste, maybe the mood I'm in. You never know.
Yeah. Okay.
Could be. You never know what BC is going to come up with. I myself actually need a little more time with this album. I listened to it once or twice through. It's good. I enjoyed it. I just need to absorb it a little more.
That's understandable.
But it's not a bad pick. It's cool.
Okay. Next
BC.
BC. I swear, everybody, I have albums that they'll like. I swear.
He does.
What?
I said I swear I have albums that you guys will like.
I listened to them all.
No, I didn't say that you didn't listen. I said that you'd like.
We'll see.
Okay, go ahead, BC.
Here's a band that I give credit to Steve. He got me into DC4, Atomic Highway, which is their fourth. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah.
Fourth album, and this is one of the ones might have been on last year's show that we're kind of looking forward to.
Yes.
For him coming out, and it might have took a little bit longer, but you know what? It was worth the wait. I mean, here's a four-piece that are pretty much family, except for Rowan.
Yep.
They're all brothers.
Matt, Sean, and Jeff Duncan.
What's the matter?
Oh, my handwriting has me all screwed up. But here's the album just comes out, and here's straightforward rock, nothing fancy. If you're looking for something fancy, But something in my head, Dominique and Castaway are probably my top three. Not necessarily in that order, but
Wilson.
Yeah, this album was probably one of my most anticipated albums of this year. They did not disappoint at any point on this album. They're what's known as, and I think it's a cool name, they call it Mega Rock, which I think is fucking awesome. We've had Sean Duncan on the show, and we were talking about the recording of that album when we had him on there, and it's just a slamming album. BC and his girlfriend, my wife and I, and BB and his wife went on a wine trip in September. I listened to this album on the way up, and I was just blown away by it. I just totally rocked out to this album.
Was that the same trip where you listened to Slipknot on the way
Yes,
back?
it was. Yeah, it was. And I was dying to put DC4 back on, but I did get through that album. And like BC, something in my head, Dominique are my two favorite songs on there. Queen of Angels is phenomenal, but there's not a bad song on there. And even though BC fucking hates The Who, it is a kick-ass version of Baba O'Reilly on there. And the guitar solos in that song just kick ass.
This was kind of a lighter album, I thought, for DC4. It felt not that it was not heavy, but it felt like it was a little more upbeat, I guess you would say. If you listen to Progeny and Queen of Angels, it feels like a little bit
A little more melodic?
Yeah, I'll say melodic. Yeah, we'll go with that. It's not as grindage in a lot of spots. There's a little more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a great album, though.
Still rock,
I thought it was really cool how they did the keyboard part in Baba O'Reilly with the guitars. That was cool. And I was like, are they going to do straight keyboards or are they going to try something different? But they did something different and they made it really cool. That wasn't my favorite song on there because I'm a purist when it comes to The Who, and I appreciate
that's another story
the
for another day.
Stuff, but the rest of the album is fantastic. It's a really good pick, and I think probably within my top 3 for album covers out of everybody's
It is a
picks.
cool album cover.
That is a cool album cover.
Absolutely. All right, cool. My number 6 pick is I became aware of this band a couple of years ago, but I never really got into them. But when this album came out, I put it on. I'm like, I'm going to give these guys another shot at the title here and see what happens with these guys. And I was blown away by this album. Blown away, man. The band is called Monster Truck, and the album is called True Rockers. This album has, like, what Steve is looking for. It's got great vocals. It's got great guitars, drums. It's a band. Drums, bass, guitars. But it's got the freaking cool keyboard sound in there. Dee Snider sings on the first album, on the first song called True Rocker, and he does. If you're familiar with the Twisted Sister song, I Believe in Rock and Roll, where he has a little like a little talking thing in the middle of it, there's that same type thing in the middle of the song True Rocker, and it's Dee Snider kind of up on the pulpit, kind of preaching rock and roll kind of thing, and it's just a great straightforward rock with that heavy Hammond keyboard sound on it. It's not overwhelming. It's not like out front like you may hear about later. But it's just a great album. Devil Don't Care, Thunder Truck. Thunder Truck is a friggin' fantastic song. If you
Thunder Truck,
it is not that. Trust me. That's the one. BC 1985. Kick-ass album, like great gang vocals in that. You guys, I cannot stress enough how kick-ass this fucking album is.
I agree. Monster Truck is just that heavy 70s feel to it, I think. And like I said, this is one of out of your picks, my top 2. I mean, True Rocker, like you said, Devil Don't Care, and Being Cool Is Over, and the Gaines vocals.
Maybe for you.
I mean, I truly like this. This is definitely one I would definitely dive into more.
Yeah, I really like this album. Though they do rip off Uptown Funk You Up with that 1985 part.
They do. Okay, thank you.
I just want to
Who
throw that out
cares?
there.
It kicks ass. It's fucking great.
No, it's a great album. I do think it is the second best album that Dee Snider's on this year, though.
Okay.
But it is a fantastic album. I always love when they have the Hammond keyboard sound, like the Hammond organ. I mean, they don't probably have the actual organ. They probably have a keyboard with the sound, but maybe they. I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent, but yeah, it's a really good album. So should I read off?
Yeah, there's our 6 to 10. Dylan's going to give us real quick BB's 10 to 6. I'm sorry, 10 to 6.
Yep.
And we'll do a quick discussion on them, then we'll go into the gem.
Okay, so BB's number 10 is I believe it's Michael Schenker Fest. It's
Michael Schenker Fest. Yes,
is what it's credited as. The album Resurrection.
Really quick. I when I first listened to this album, I was like, it kind of sucks. But then last week I put it on. I gave it a good listen. It's really good. It has the cast of singers that they've had at MSGs as Gary Barden, Graham Bonnet, Robin McCauley, and Doogie White are the singers on this album. And I think it's a good mix of all of the guys from MSG.
Mm-hmm. I agree with Steve. It's a very good mix. They brought everybody back, and the more I listen to it, the more I get into this album. Yeah. So it's definitely a grower. I
liked it. The vocals on the first track, though, sound really badly auto-tuned to me. That was the only gripe I had with the album. The rest of the album I really liked. Number 9 is Loudness with Rise to Glory. I liked it a lot. Loudness cannot put out any bad albums, I don't think. Some of the songs were a little long for my liking. They dragged a tiny bit, but amazing guitar work, really cool, sing-along vocals. Great band, great album.
I mean, here's a band that we caught, twice now?
Twice at M3.
Twice at M3.
And we saw them with Crew back in the day.
And we would have saw them a lot more, but they can't get in the country. But welcome to the United States. But I didn't even know this was up.
No, it slipped under my radar too.
My radar, and Like you said, I mean, phenomenal. I thought it was.
Yeah, it was good.
I really enjoyed this album.
Yeah, I remember. I know you knew this album came out because I told you about it, but you mustn't listen to it. But it's a great album. It's a great. It's not a rock. It's a metal album.
It's definitely.
And Akira Takasaki is a friggin' phenomenal guitar player. I cannot stress enough how much this guy kicks ass.
Underrated.
And his guitar sound is so different from, I think, what is out there. It's a very different sounding guitar sound, but it is a kick-ass album, front to beginning. Yeah.
Front to beginning.
Front to end. Sorry. And it's great. So definitely check that one out. Rise to Glory.
Number 8 is Red Dragon Cartel with Patina. This one, I don't want to call it a sophomore slump, but I like the first album better, I'll say.
I'll agree with you, Dylan, on that. I don't know what it is. I mean,
Sounds
the
empty.
guitar playing is good. The musically it's good. I guess the songs are not catching.
Yeah.
Something's missing.
I totally agree with BC. I love the guitar sound on that album. I love the solos on that album. There's 2 songs that I really like, but I don't think it's an album of good songs. I really don't. I don't know why. And Sophomore Slump, I could definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Talented people in it, though.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll say that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great band. I can't wait to see them live.
Yeah.
And actually, Jake E. Lee said live that he's not going to play any Ozzy songs. He said he's only going to play them if he plays them with Ozzy. So you're not going to get anything from Ultimate Sin or Bark at the
He
Moon.
did. He like when we saw them.
He did then, but he said he's not doing that
he only
anymore.
did like Ultimate Sin,
And
which is a
Bark at the Moon.
I don't think he did Bark at the Moon when we saw him. I think he
Oh,
just did.
We'll have to look back at the
I
set
think he
list.
just
I'm
did
not
Ultimate
sure.
Sin because I was very confused. Like,
And that was
why
and he opened up
chose
with that. It was a really weird song to open
Yeah.
up
The
with.
sun was out at this time.
Number 7 is the Killer Dwarfs with Live No Guff. I did not listen to this one.
Okay.
I love the Killer Drawers. I mean, the set list on there was good. I was not down with the production.
No.
The sound was
I'm
very hollow.
I think so too. And I love the set list. I love the Killer Dwarfs. I think the production kills it.
The production, yeah.
Number 6, capping off the first half of BB's list, is John Corabi with Live 94, One Night in Nashville. I like the song selection on this. This was a really cool set list. And I'm glad that he went back in the vault to put it out because John Corabi is a talented musician, and you may be hearing some more from him later on in the episode.
I love John Corabi. I love the songs. Like I said, he's very talented. Again, just like the Killer Drawers.
Production. not
I
taking
don't
it.
like the sound of it.
Well, this was recorded in '94, so that's
But still, I mean, it was just released now.
Was it recorded in '94?
it's Live '94 according to.
Yeah, but it's
no,
the
no,
'94 album. It was recorded last year
Was
or
it
the year
recorded
before.
last? Oh, I read it as.
No,
I read it as
it's
it
the
was-
'94 Motley
That's
Crue
what
album.
Motley Crue put out. He did.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't recorded
No,
then.
no.
Boy,
It sounds like it was recorded then.
It sounds.
Well, that's what I thought. I'm like, maybe
No,
he did like
well-
a solo show.
No, he did it. He did, but that was just that. That's what it's from
Boy,
the
I feel
'94
like an
Motley
idiot.
Crue album.
I love
no,
it. It's just-
but it's the thing for me is it's not what I thought it was going to be.
No.
And trust me,
And
John Corabi
we
is
seen
kick
him live.
ass.
We seen him live, and his
Yeah.
band kicked fucking ass.
And I just saw him on the Kiss Cruise do a couple shows. He fucking rocked.
Yeah.
But,
So sorry
All right.
for the misinformation
All right,
on that one.
right before we get into the gyms, we're going to go real quick. Dylan, what's your favorite song of 2018?
I have a tie, if that's okay.
No ties. Only for me.
My first song is from Ghost. It's Rats. First time I heard this, I was a little underwhelmed with it, but the subsequent listens, it kept getting in my head.
Got in your
and
head.
especially the end part, like with that starts off with like the cool keyboard
Mm-hmm.
sound, and then it comes into the. Dun, 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 dun. It's such an amazing jam part. So it had to make my list because I've constantly been playing it over and over since it came out. My second song is off of Ice Nine Kills' album, The Silver Scream. You only had to pick one. I had a tie. Don't worry. It's the song "It Is the End," and I'll be talking more about this album later on. But the album is basically each song is a different horror movie.
It was one of your gems.
Yeah, and this one is based off of the movie It. And it has some really cool there's some ska parts to it where there's like horns and trombones, but it's also got like a really menacing part of it. Like the beginning scene from It is basically reenacted at the beginning of the song, where like Pennywise is talking to Georgie before he bites his arm off.
They float.
And like it's a creepy song, but there's like these elements of like whimsy and fun to the song to be like, yeah, it's a killer clown. So like the clown lures you in with its silliness, but then it gets you with the menace. So the song perfectly encapsulates that movie. So I had to put that as my second best song of the year.
Cool.
I'm gonna reach into fishbowl here because there's not such a thing as one good song for me.
I know. You can pick whatever.
Every time this song comes on, it just gets me going. Godsmack when Legends Rise. Great way to open up that album, and just I love the old Godsmack.
Yeah.
Old but mature stuff.
Right. I as Dylan does, I have a tile. So I talked about this song on the DC4 album, Dominique. I think it's fucking fantastic. And actually, I concur with Dylan. I have Rats written down too from Ghost.
So good.
And I'm still so fucking pissed that I missed that song
That was
at the
the one
show.
song you missed.
I'm like, damn. Like and back in 86, 87, when I saw Def Leppard on the Hysteria tour, Europe opened up for them, and they opened up with the Final Countdown, and then they closed the show with it. I was hoping for that with Ghost, but I didn't get it.
They have to end with what I think is a terrible ending song. What's it called? The clock song.
Oh, Monstrous Clock. Monstrance Clock.
Yeah.
It is a horrible closing song. It was a
very
terrible way to end the fucking show.
Closing song.
All right, so one more quick one. What was your guys' surprise album of the year that you liked? BC.
Surprise year probably was kind of a toss between Jizzy Pearl, All You Need Is Soul, and Ace Frehley, Spaceman.
Fuck.
But
I think he took both of our picks.
did it?
I swear to God, I have Jizzy Pearl written down too.
I have Ace written down.
You know, I mean, not that. I mean, I'm a diehard Ace fan, but I was very surprised how good it was.
I was too.
Not the.
And they called me the fucking Ace Basher.
What? I didn't bash him.
No, but
He
you
doesn't
said you weren't
bash him.
expecting much out of it.
He
See,
doesn't
no,
bash
you were
in
the
public.
that was the typical Ace fan. They don't
Yeah,
expect
typical
much
Ace
from
fan.
him. But then when he does something good, they're really surprised.
No, I knew it was going to be good.
strategy.
I knew
I guess.
because the last one, Space Invaders, was good.
Space Invader.
So I figured, okay, it's going to be.
That's his best
But
song.
it was
Even a step up from that.
step up from that, and it surprised me.
Yeah.
And Jizzy Pearl, I mean,
It's
he was
a
a
great
guy that
album.
got. I mean, loved him a black,
Love hate.
love hate, black hate. Sorry,
Blackout in the Red Room.
black. I mean,
Black Pearl.
and then he got lost in the Rat Shuffle and
Quiet Riot.
Quite Right, and gotta love him. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, you gotta make a living. But this came out surprisingly like, whoa.
Yeah, I also had Jizzy Pearl down. All You Need Is Soul. It's a great album, and I definitely agree that that Ace Spaceman is it's a great album.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's really good.
I had Spaceman as well on my list.
There's a
I
group.
you could
Yeah.
look back on the episodes. I was like, I'm not expecting much from this album, but it exceeded my expectations. I thought it was great. There were a lot of really good songs on there. Some songs I'm still like, but some pretty decent.
There's some
songs.
good stuff on there.
And
I like the sound of the
was
Ace
surprised.
album. I really and I'm always a fan of the jangly guitars because on Rockin' with the Boys, a lot of people bust ass on that song. I think it is an excellent song. I love the jangly guitars on that.
the Rockin' Beth.
Hey, it's not Beth. Maybe the
be
Rocket
home
version, but
soon, 'cause
I'll take that any day over that.
can't wait to
And
be
one more quick one here, guys. What was your best concert of 19, right?
19.
Yeah,
19.
2018. Dylan.
I'm gonna have to go with Ozzy, the concert that the three of us went to. Ozzy and Stone Sour. Ozzy consistently surprises me on how good he is. We saw him with Black Sabbath, and he blew me away. Even with spraying himself in the face with the foam hose.
Oops.
That was bound to happen.
He was still great, but I mean, Stone Sour opening up. Corey Taylor is just amazing. Chucking water bottles at the crowd like they're going out of style.
He was endorsed by Aquafina.
And Zach Wilde, MVP of that show for That amazing
Bearded Zach.
That's how you do solos. Is
Yes.
like a jam with the band, and like
Not just standing there.
he's going into the crowd. He's walking backwards down stadium steps with
Playing
the guitar
above
behind
his
his
head.
back. And, like, holy shit! It was a really awesome show, and
And
I'm
he
glad-
rocked that fucking kilt.
Yeah, he did. The whole band was great. Tommy Clufitos on drums and Blasco on bass. It's a good lineup for Ozzy.
BC, how about you?
I had Ozzy.
He's got Ozzy down.
I stole yours, you stole mine.
Ozzy Allentown. Other than, I mean, I thought Striper and M3, just the way they came out. I mean, there's a band that
They get heavier.
they're known for honesty and all this other shit, but here's a band that the last 3 albums keep getting heavier and heavier and heavier. They're going to be metal in another three years.
Well,
They're about as close as you can
I'm
get now.
contending that they are metal. Take It to the Cross is a metal song.
Oh, really?
My favorite, I'm going to say my favorite was a dual favorite. I'm going to say Night Ranger and Queensryche at M3. Last year was probably
Night Ranger's always good.
Last year was probably the best time I had at M3 in probably 5 or 6 years. We were right up front, bands kicked ass, and I cannot disagree with you guys about the Ozzy and Stone Sour show. Just great shows. And if Ozzy, I think he still has some shows left. If he's playing in your area, because I know he's playing around us again, I think I may go again. That's how good it was. And by the time you guys listen to this, we will have our M3 tickets. We'll let you know how our seats are going to be. So before we get back into our top 5, we're going to take a little break and do our hidden gem. All right, let's get into our hidden gems here. They don't necessarily have to be hidden. They could be right out there, but maybe something that everyone's not aware of. And let's start with BC today.
Funny, Jim, listen to all this music we listened to in the last 2 weeks, especially last week. I'm going to go with Black Toro. Raise Your Fist. It's an EP from 2012. It's,
Love that Alice Cooper album.
It's
Black Toro?
Black Toro. Like Toro.
Black Toro. Okay.
Toro. I'm thinking of Snow Blower, I'm sorry. But it's three guys.
Tora.
Could you spell that? Tora?
Yes.
Okay.
What's the name of the album?
Raise Your Fist.
Raise Your
Raise
Fist.
Your Fist. Okay.
It's an EP.
But no, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah. It's an EP from 2012. It's 3 guys from Texas. Texas. But
Were they blind in Texas?
I was
They
literally
might have
just going to make that joke.
I mean, these guys rock. I mean, and they have a full album out, which I did not really dive into enough to. So I picked the EP out, and this is 2016, 17, 18.
Just hard rock?
It's very like hard rock guitar, ripping guitar. I mean, I'm like, how do you not?
Now,
It's
do they-
amazing how
Do they have like that southern sound to them like some of them bands do? Kind of like
No,
Texas
this
Hippie
is-
Coalition? No?
when I found out they're Texas, like wow,
Okay.
I would never. I was figuring New York City. The look of them,
Oh, really?
the sound of them. I'm thinking New York City, and it's Texas. I'm like
Really?
Texas.
Oh, cool. All right.
But check it out,
Black
Toro.
Tora. Raise Your Fist. Done.
Well, speaking of raising your fist and yelling, my song is a cover of an Alice Cooper song.
Nice.
Now, do you remember the show Vinyl that was on HBO like in 2016,
Yes.
starring Bobby Cannavale?
Yes.
This is from the soundtrack of it, specifically volume 1.3, like the EP. It's a cover of I Love the Dead by Andrew W.K., who you may know as doing the Party Hard song.
Party Hard.
He does a spot-on Alice Cooper impression in this song.
Really?
It's a really cool version of the song. Really faithful. It almost sounds like an alternate take of Alice, and it's a song that if you've seen Alice live, you've only heard just the repeat of the title part of the song, because they always have it right at the end of Alice gets killed, and then Chuck Garrett comes up and he starts doing
Right.
the I
Yeah.
love the
Oh, cool.
But this is the full song. So Andrew WK's version of I Love the Dead from the Vinyl soundtrack.
All right. Very cool. My gym this week is going to be, it's an album called Devil's Hand. It's an album and band called Devil's Hand, and it's featuring Andrew Freeman, that is the lead singer for Last in Line, and they have an excellent album, Last in Line 2, coming out in, I don't know, February or March. I want to say February. It's available for pre-sale online. If you get on their Facebook page, you can get the link to pre-order. I pre-ordered it on vinyl myself. And Andrew Freeman and Mike Slammer is the guitar player. And this guy, when I first read that, I wasn't sure who he was. I hadn't really heard the name before. But apparently he's one of the guitar players that played all the solos on the first 2 Warrant albums. And it says that he played a solo on a Kicks song, so I guess that's his claim to fame. But it's a great album. I only got to listen to it once through. BC and I actually listened to it today, and I think it'd be a cool album for you guys to check it out. Andrew Freeman has a friggin' phenomenal voice, and while you're at it, check out Last in Line also. All right, before we get back into the picks, I want to ask our guest here, Skip. I don't want to leave you totally out. Skip, what's your favorite rock band?
Oh, I listen to many different ones.
Pick 2. Give me 2.
Well, I love Kiss, you know that, but now, the past few weeks I've been in the country. So
That's out of format.
Yeah, so I mix it up a little.
That's all.
Nothing wrong with that. All right, thank you, Skip. I didn't want to leave you out totally, but
No,
he
that's fine.
and I'll tell you what, Skip is kicking ass as a bartender here tonight. We have not had an empty beer in front of us all night, which is what I really like about a bartender.
We're not going dry.
We are not.
Try it.
All right, let's get back into our picks. Let's mix it up. I'm gonna go first with my pick here this time, and this album we talked about this album when we did the Motorhead episode with Jim Polkowski, which was a really fun episode to do. And this is the band from the Motorhead guitar player Phil Campbell. It's Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, called The Age of Absurdity. Just a kick-ass, straightforward, hard rock album that just kind of pummels the shit out of you from beginning to end. It is just a great, straightforward rock album, and it's kick-ass. I love this album, and actually, hopefully, I have the CD, but hopefully maybe Santa Claus will bring it for me on vinyl for Christmas. Hope. But some of the kick-ass songs on there are Gypsy's Kiss. Dark Days is like a very mid-tempo, very moody song. Kind of got a blues thing to it. It opens up with Ringleader and just a song right out of the gate that just like punches you right in the face. Excellent.
I agree with everything you said on that because, again, I have not given this enough love to actually give my honest opinion on it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I really loved what I heard, and it definitely makes me want to listen to it more.
Listen to it more, yes.
But I don't have like that solid foundation to give a definitive yes.
Okay.
And I'm trying not to bash stuff.
Okay.
Unless it's
He's
Dylan's.
looking at me. He's looking at me. He's like, he's giving me the eyes already.
All right, Dylan, what do you got next?
Oh boy.
Well, this next one,
Speaking of bashing,
Oh boy.
here comes Dylan's next pick.
this next one is a band that BC says he's not really checked out. It is a band that we've already talked about one of their songs as our best song. It's Ghost with Prequel. Really good album for the band. It's a little different, a little more poppy maybe. There's an awesome saxophone solo at one point in Miasma, I believe, that blew me away when I heard it. I'm like, holy fuck, who puts a sax solo in a rock album anymore? That's awesome. But it's a really fun album. I will call it a fun album because there's a bit of darkness to it, but it's like a spooky darkness, not like a scary darkness, like, you know, kooky and fun darkness, if that makes sense. Not quite Munsters. I'll say Addams Family
All right.
levels.
All right. Sitting down. I liked what I heard off this.
Okay,
I really
that's
did. I like Rats. Not to freak you out or anything.
I know. All the cool songs are named after fucking rats. I hate that.
I mean, from what I heard and I was listening to it, I'm like, okay. And I'm really not
A ghost guy.
a ghost. Not that. Just because I
You haven't had a chance to. Yeah.
really sit down and scope. You said this is more popish.
It's like it has a different feel, I think, than the other albums. It's a little lighter.
It's
maybe?
definitely. I mean, from what I heard so far of Ghost, it's you see pictures of them, and when you hear
don't-
them,
yes.
it's not the
Yeah,
same.
they don't look what they sound like.
Perception,
They
reality,
don't sound like they
different,
look
yeah.
like, or vice versa, or whatever. But no. I mean, I definitely want to delve into more Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked it.
No, that's good. I'm glad.
I really like this album. I think it's great. I prefer to call the song Brats. Brats. I think it's excellent. And like I said, you guys know I just saw them a couple weeks ago. And like even some of the other songs, Miasma, Dylan talked about that with the sax solo. Dance Macabre is friggin' cool. I mean, just a cool song. Although they do some weird remix dance version of that. It's really,
that's not
really...
that's not on the album.
No, it's not, but it's like an extra thing. The song "Faith" is great. "See the Light" is excellent. It's a great album. I don't know. Did I say about my vinyl on this
Yeah,
show
the
before?
hole's too small.
Yeah, I still
Yeah.
gotta get that. I still haven't played that on my vinyl, but it's a great pick. It's an excellent album. See that even that was a good
Hey.
one. All right, BC, what do you got?
We're going to start off this second half of it with a shocker here, people. Nobody saw this coming. My number 5 pick is going to be Lizzy Borden.
Holy shit!
I
I
mean,
didn't
that's
see it coming that it's number 5.
I know that's my shock.
That's
That's my shock that it's number 5.
Huh?
I was
BC just gave us the
was not-
shocker.
I just gave these guys the shocker.
I was wow
For this thing.
wow.
Sit back in the chair. Okay,
I
guys.
am.
You mean
I'm
to go on
fucking.
Amazon?
Well, I can't. I'm not exactly speechless, but
No, hey,
right.
I'm being honest. Throughout the year, I mean, it can't. But I mean, it's my boy Lizzy. How can you not go around the guy? I mean, here's a guy that pretty much did the whole album. Him and Joey Scott.
yep,
He played everything except for the drums.
yeah.
I mean, to me, it was different. When I first put it on, I was like, okay. And Lizzy's always done something
Right.
different, both image, musically. He's always known for that. And he's always talking about the next album being different than this album, which is par for the course. But some of the ones that stand out for me is Long May They Hunt Us, Obsessed with You, Our Love is God, and Run Away with Me. I mean, it's just, the more I listen to this, I keep hearing something new every time I listen to it. Classic Lizzy.
Yeah, it's when this album came out. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this.
I think it was
Not in a bad way, though. Not in a bad way.
I wasn't expecting.
But I like that about a band that
He-
they kind of turned around on you, where you're like, oh, that's not what I expected, but I don't hate it either. You know,
he prides himself in always not doing.
I think it's great. He's got such a cool voice, and I think he's one of the more talented guys that are out there that people don't realize. He's an under the radar talent, I think, and I don't think a lot of people realize that this album is him and Joey Scott, and I liked it. I thought it was a good album. It just missed my list. And Long May They Haunt Us, I really like. My Midnight Things, I absolutely love that song.
It's a great album. I can see why you're obsessed with Lizzy Borden. Before doing this podcast, I had not really listened to Lizzy Borden at all, and now that I have, I'm a fan. I really like what I've heard.
Good pick, BC. Good pick. My next pick. I talked about these guys a little bit on another episode. A new band that I discovered, another band that had a bunch of stuff out before that I really hadn't delved into. I had heard the name before, but never really checked them out. But when this album came out, it came up, and I'm like, let me check these guys out. The band's called Powerwolf. The album's called The Sacrament and the Sin. Blown away by this album. Absolutely blown away. It has that, sorry, Stephen Michael, it has that symphonic, big sound to it that I like. Big, huge background vocals. It's got the keyboard, not like the Hammond keyboard sound, like the church kind of keyboard sound to it, like the organ sound to it. Sounds friggin' excellent. Songs like Killers with the Cross, Stasabed. It's a song that's, I think, in Swedish, the lyrics are, but it's friggin' kick-ass. And probably the best song on there are Demons Are a Girl's Best Friend. It's just a great, great album. And it's one that I see myself going back to all the time. And this is an album that I think a lot of these songs will be on a lot of playlists that I have to come. One that I will go back to time and time again.
I was not in the right mindset to listen to this album. I'll say that. What I heard was great, but I was not in the power metal mode, I guess, because it's a very, how do I word it?
Gothic?
Yeah, it's like you need to be really involved to listen to power metal because it's such an epic sounding song, epic sounding genre throughout each of the
like
songs.
watching
You need
Lord
to
of
be
the Rings.
you need to be at 10 going into the album so that you have enough energy to keep through to the end, which is how I'm sure some people are with thrash. That's how it is for me for power metal. I can only listen to
Right.
it's
It's
in doses. I'll say
it's like a mix of Hammerfall and
Yeah.
Nightwish,
yeah,
but with a guy singing, but with a little more gruff vocals.
yeah.
Steve put out his list, and bam, this is the first one I listened to. First time I listened to it, I was like, what is this? I mean, I wasn't having nothing to do with it. Then I listened to it a second, a third time. It really started growing on me. Like you said, demons are a girl's best friend.
Oh my God.
And Killers at the Cross.
There's the demon.
There's the... And there's parts of it that remind me of Lordy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I'm like, wait, that's reminds me of Lordy.
The first listen, he was hearing the Nightwish. The second listen, he was hearing the Hammerfall. That's what it was.
There you go.
And the third wish, I was hearing a little bit Lordy.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely give it some more. And like you said, they have a lot of stuff up. So I'm down with it.
All right, cool. Who was next, Dylan?
Yep.
No,
Was it you?
no, it went Dylan, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know why he...
I don't know.
I like beer.
So there were 2 albums that came out. Well, technically 3, but 2 albums that came out from members of Alter Bridge that were solo albums. Miles Kennedy put out an album, and Mark Tremonti put out an album. Miles Kennedy's album is an acoustic thing. It was a good album. I enjoyed it. Didn't make my list. However, Tremonti with A Dying Machine did make my list. This album kicks ass. It's the first concept album from Tremonti. No Wolfgang. Sorry, BC. I know you miss Wolfgang Van Halen, but this is a really nice, diverse album. It has some awesome like thrashing songs, like "Throw 'Em to the Lions" is a really heavy, just punch you in the face kind of song. But there's also some really nice, little slower, a little more mid-tempo, like as the Silence Becomes Me, Desolation. Some really good range of music that comes together for a really awesome album that made my list. And I had never really checked out Tremonti as much. I was always like an Alter Bridge fan, and then I liked what Miles Kennedy did elsewhere, but I never listened to any of Mark Tremonti's solo stuff. But I'm definitely going back to listen to it because this album is phenomenal.
Sitting down.
Yeah.
Another one that boom put it out. I was like, wow. I mean, I've heard Tremonti before, maybe a few years back. It's been a while. And I put this on. It's like, oh, it caught me. And even vocally, like the last one, I didn't like the vocals on. Mm-hmm. I like the music, but not the vocals. This one is really, really caught me. And I'll be honest, I did not have enough time to delve into as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going into this one again because it's, like you said, it has a good mix. Some good rock and some lower tunes, which is not always bad, but I like what I heard so far.
Yeah, outstanding band. Tremonti, I believe it's his 3rd album out, and he never really did any singing before he started his 4th album. I'm sorry, yeah. And but tremendous album, and like you said, it covers a broad spectrum of what's out there between like mellow and harder rock and like mid-tempo songs, but they're good songs though. They're just it's good song. The production is fucking phenomenal on it, yeah. And it's definitely I love this album. It's great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Excellent.
Number 4.
All right, BC, what do you got?
All right, now my number 4 is the Catholic Boys and Striper.
There it is.
With
Are they Catholic? I don't think they're Catholic.
God damn.
Yo, whoa, don't say it. Goddamn's evil. That's a better way to say it. Because if you say goddamn evil, some people get it.
No, it's God, comma, damn evil.
God,
yeah.
comma,
You
damn
can't.
evil.
Yeah, it can't be all together.
You can't say goddamn evil because then people get all pissed off and they start throwing shit. But here's a band that I think we just discussed keeps getting heavier and heavier.
Yeah.
And even live, I mean, these guys can bring it live. They got a new bass player, Perry Richardson, which to me fits the group very good. He's from Firehouse fame. A very heavy album with a heavy song would be Sorry, or The Devil Doesn't Live Here. And, of course, the title track, Goddamn Evil.
Do it.
Striper.
There it is.
All right, Striper. We talked about this album since it came out. It came out right before M3 last year. We got to see them perform some of the songs at M3. Excellent band, excellent album, and we talked about them a little bit earlier. I think they're just a band that gets heavier and heavier. And Michael Sweet has been producing the last couple albums. The production is impeccable on them, and it's classic Striper sound, but heavier. and I think it's great. I love Sorry on there, and I love The Valley.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Michael Sweet has sounded better than on this album. You listen to a song like Lost, his vocals during the chorus are so high up there. They could shatter glass if they're at the right frequency.
Mm-hmm.
I remember putting this on, and Take It to the Cross comes on. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is Striper?
And they
Yeah.
released that before the album
That was the
came
first
out.
thing that came out.
And you were like,
What is this?
he kept looking at the screen saying, is this
Wait.
Striper? We got to go.
Nope, hang on. That right there was BB going out on a call. I don't know if you guys can hear the siren and the horn.
No, they could hear it.
That was BB going out on a call. So BB, stay safe, my friend. I don't know what he's going out on, but I don't think it's a fire. But
Yeah, Take It to the Cross, Sorry, Lost, Goddamn Evil, The Valley, Sea of Thieves. They're all really
it's a great album. It
awesome
is. It
songs.
is. There's no skippers on there. Great pick, BC.
only Gilligan's.
What?
Because you said no skippers on there.
Oh, well, we got Skip with us. We got the skipper with us. My next album is going to be. I talked about this album when it came out. I think it came out in the spring last year, and
Well, it's not this year.
huh?
It's not an album for this year. If you talked about it spring of last year,
I mean, this year, spring of 2018.
you said spring of last year, right?
Last year. I mean, you know what I mean. I'm thinking back. It came out in 2018.
Okay.
All right. Godsmack, When Legends Rise.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I said it, I know I said it on the episode before, this is the album that I always wished Godsmack would make. I think that it is, and I am probably the most immature fucking person that I know, but it is like a mature album for these guys. I think that all the pieces fell together on this album. There's not a song on there that I don't love. I love every song on there. And I'm not one to say that. I don't give that up easy, because there's some songs be like, but I think every song is great on this. The ones that stand out, Unforgettable is friggin' great. Take It to the Edge. Under Your Scars, that was one of the songs that I picked on our ballads episode. That is a song that like comes on and it has that factor for me. Say My Name is just a fucking rocker. You want to just fucking smack someone around when you hear that song. I think it's just a fantastic album, and this is a solid top 3 pick for me.
Mm-hmm. It shows some diversity in what Godsmack can do. Like, there's a lot of lighter stuff on this album that you wouldn't normally expect from a band like Godsmack. Even the album cover, I was taken aback because
It's kind of understated.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I'm not used to seeing like white on a Godsmack album. They're all like usually darker, or like there's yellows or oranges. Orange is usually the one color that
Red.
permeates. But this is a really fantastic album. The song for me, Unforgettable, is an unforgettable song. It's such a good sing-along chorus. Sully sounds amazing singing these lyrics, and the band sounds really tight. It's a great album. I can see why it made your list.
It made my list too. But like you said, it has the old Godsmack sound, but mature.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's unbeatable.
It's unforgettable.
There you go. All right, Dylan, what do you got next? Now you're in your top 3 now, so you got to make them good.
Number 3. Okay, so this was a band I had heard about for years and years. I only got into them this year. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, not listening to these guys before. It's another album that I'm sure BC's not going to like. It's Coheed and Cambria, which I thought was going to be my number 1 pick, but 2 albums have usurped it. Still an amazing album, though. It's in my top 3. The official title is Vaxis Act 1, The Unheavenly Creatures, but it's shortened to The Unheavenly Creatures.
Good.
It's the start of a new concept, record for them, because their albums before, all of them but one, were a single story. This one is still part of that universe, but it's starting a different chapter of it, I guess you could say. But it's a long album, but it's a good album. I think every track adds something new to it. There's a lot of diversity within it, a lot of really cool sing-along parts. I think the lead singer, frontman, and he also plays guitar, Claudio Sanchez, sounds amazing on this album. His writing is really good on it. There's a lot of really cool uplifting parts to it. There's a lot of really cool rocking parts to it. The song Old Flames is a really good sing-along, a good use of na-na-nas, I think, towards the end. Black Sunday's a cool song. Queen of the Dark Sentencer is a really awesome thing. It's definitely not an album to listen to if you're not into concept stuff and like prog metal. There are some elements of like alternative pop in there. There's a lot of different genres flying around, so it's a bit of an acquired taste, I think, for some people out there. But the first moment I heard it, I was hooked, and I have it on vinyl. That was one of my vinyl purchases this year, and I fell in love with this album. So, The Unheavenly Creatures, Coheed and Cambria, number 3.
It's definitely different. I thought it was a female singer, I'll be honest.
No, it's a guy. And you should hear his
Can
voice
he-
on the first albums.
Really?
Yeah, he is high up there.
I was looking at
Oh,
him.
yeah? I thought it was like a guy and a girl singing.
No, it's
No.
just Claudio.
I thought it was a girl.
No,
I mean,
Because
no
like,
disrespect,
it's
but
different on a couple different songs. That's why I thought it was
seems
two
like,
different
yeah.
people singing.
That's why.
Oh, it's just one guy?
I believe
one
it's just
guy.
Claudio.
Oh,
singing.
really?
one guy, yeah.
Oh.
Because I got it on Google and I.
Did you see his hair?
Yeah.
His hair is crazy.
But anyways,
You have a flock of seagulls here?
No, it's like here. I'll show you.
But I definitely, I mean, it's different. But
It's like a lion's mane.
at first I'm like, oh, is this a girl? And I'm looking at him, reading the band names, and I'm leaving pictures. I'm going,
Where's the girl?
Where's the girl? I'm thinking. I mean, no disrespect, but I mean, I like the way it starts off, and
Yeah.
like you said, and it gets very. I mean,
And the piano is like a motif throughout the album too, because
Yes, it
that's
co-
like the main theme in Old Flames, which is really cool.
which okay, once I got over that, it's not a girl, and then delving into it, I mean. This is like you said. You got it. You just can't listen. Just give your opinion. You got to.
Yeah.
You got to
Yes.
give it.
You got to take it as a whole.
It's
You
an
gotta
old
get-
school album in that way. Like you
Yeah.
put your headphones on,
You
put
gotta
it on the
sit- yeah,
turntable.
You just don't put it on and
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
walk past and like, oh yeah. But from what I heard, I like parts and it's very
Yeah.
different. But you really have to sit down and
Dig.
give it, dig and
Give it its due.
Give it its due. Yes.
Yeah.
So I can't really say, yeah, no, but it's interesting.
And it's an album that really benefits from multiple listens because you do notice things that you didn't notice before,
yeah.
like callbacks to different songs and like different little guitar parts and instrumental parts that are really cool.
You said you have it on vinyl. It's got to be double vinyl.
It's triple vinyl.
Oh, triple.
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I
I
was
was gonna
going
say,
to say it's got to be at
It's-
least two.
yeah, it's-
I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I was home the one day. I was doing laundry and cleaning and shit around the house, and it was like, you know what? This album's about an hour or a little more long, so I might as well just
Two and a half.
throw it on. But there was a lot of stuff that really, really caught my ear on this album. And it's another album that reminded me of the My Chemical Romance album in ways. And going back to that real quick, that out of all the episodes that we've done this year, that is probably the album that caught me the most that wasn't a new album out of everything that we've done this year. And it was on Dylan's birthday episode. It's My Chemical Romance, The Dark Parade.
The Black Parade.
The Black Parade, I'm sorry. Yeah. But great album. But like this kind of brought me back a little bit to that. It had that kind of vibe at a couple parts that I thought. But great album. I mean, I thought, you're right, BC. It is something you kind of need to take as a whole, not just listen to a song, two songs here and then later. But you need to kind of just absorb the whole thing.
You have to give it. You have to give it some time.
I enjoyed it. I really did. BC.
My pick.
Yep.
It is.
Unless you want to use Godsmack as your pick for this one.
No. This one is I tossed it back and forth, but I'm gonna go with the Meadow Alliance.
Allegiance.
Meadow Allegiance Alliance. Allegiance
Metal Allegiance.
Stop it. With the I guess Volume 2 Power Drunk Justice
Power Drunk Majesty.
Majesty.
Did you get any of that right?
Oh God darn it.
Wally was right.
But I mean, I listened to these guys' first release, and I was like, it was okay, but it did jump. And then this came on for some reason. There was nothing out that week, and I picked it up. I threw it in. I was like, and right off the bat, it grabbed me. I mean, I guess they don't really have a vocalist. They just have a bunch of people on there. But Bound by Silence, Mother of Sin, Terminal Illusion, Liars and Thieves. It just musically it catches me first, and then vocally, even the Cookie Monster song is not.
Yeah, the guy from Amon Amarth sings one of the songs.
Thank you. Amon Amarth.
I'll tell you what, great album. I have, when the first Metal Allegiance album came out, I was like, holy shit, this is great. It's Mike Portnoy, David Ellefson, Alex Skolnick from Testament are the main guys in the band. but there's several guest singer stars on there. Bobby Blitz sings Mother of Sin on there. Bound by Silence is from John Bush. Voodoo the Godsend is the singer from Sepultura. But this album, you throw this bitch on, you want to have a fucking pit. I want to flip this table over right now, get into a pit with these guys here, just thinking about this album. It is just a great thrash album, and there's not a bad song on it. When I heard they were going to do a second album, I was like, I couldn't wait for it to come out, and it absolutely did not disappoint.
Yeah, I loved the first album. I love albums that have like a giant group of people coming together, jamming on a bunch of songs, because it adds variety to each of the tracks. There's something a little different with each song that you could get out of. If you don't like one of them, the next one you'll most likely really enjoy. And I think this album is a really good ensemble album, I'll call it. Kind of like a metal coalition, if you will, of all these great musicians.
It is pretty much, absolutely. And I really enjoyed this album. And this was one that, one of my more anticipated albums this year when it came out. I really enjoyed it. And it didn't disappoint. It did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. The solos are ripping on it. It's a perfect mix. And these guys, I think they form a really good band. But when they play live, they kind of get who's ever available, and they just play these songs. But they don't only play these songs. They play, like if Chuck Billy's there from Testament, they'll play a couple Testament songs, and then they'll do songs from these. If John Bush is there, they'll do an Armored Saint song. Hopefully do like Anthrax, John Bush version songs. But they're just a great band. It's a great mix of guys, and awesome. I will go into my next pick, and my next pick is a band Dylan brought to my attention probably about a month, maybe 2 months ago, and I cannot get this album out of my head. It is the band is called Blood of the Sun, and it's called Blood's Thicker Than Love. This album, I talked about Monster Truck before, and I said that it has all the elements that I like. That album is like the cousin to this album. Phenomenal. When I did an episode with Grown Up Rock with Stephen Michael and Sonny Pooney, maybe about a month ago, as we're doing this episode now, and they do a segment on the show. It's called Crank Me Up. Crank It Up Spotlight. And I asked Stephen if I said, can I pick the thing? And actually, the first one I picked was Striker. But then, like 2 days later, Dylan introduced this album to me, Blood of the Sun, and I'm like, shit. I'm like, I really wish I picked that one. But then when we were doing the episode, Steven said, I want to pick one too, and he picked Blood of the Sun. And I'm like, holy shit, I was going to pick that one if you didn't want to do that one. But this album has the elements that I love. It's got the heavy Hammond keyboard organ sound to it. It's like heavy metal, Deep Purple. Songs Keep the Lemmies Coming and Living for the Night in My Time are just phenomenal songs. These are songs that I ended up picking it up on vinyl too, and I've just been wearing it the fuck out. Kick-ass album. I cannot recommend this band and this album highly enough.
Again, I have to agree everything Steve said, and I didn't hear these guys until Steve talked about them. But boom, you put it on, and like you said, love the keyboards.
Right out of the gate.
Very deep. I mean, just the whole feel of this album. Vocals. I cannot get enough.
Full package.
This is the full deal. I cannot get enough of this one. I mean, I kept going back to this one.
I mean, this was one of the albums that I always look on iTunes for the latest releases. I try to dig deep into the rock and metal categories to see, okay, what are the albums that aren't popping up on the main ones that show up when you initially go into that genre page. And this was one of the ones that I found, and I was blown away by how cool and 70s sounding it was. And it's really awesome that the songs, for the most part, are just like verse, chorus, and then jam at the end of the song. And like the majority of the song is the jam.
And they stretch them out too. And
it's such a cool way, and you get to see everybody in the band be spotlighted in a certain way in every song, and The guitar and the keyboard back and forth are really just they really bring you back to.
Yeah, there's 2 guitar players.
Yeah, they really bring you back to the 70s. That's how you could really describe it.
You can picture these guys in a club.
If I walked into somewhere and this was on playing, I'd be like, wow, this is an old school.
Right. Can you imagine like walking into a bar and these guys are playing? You'd just be like, holy fuck. BC, we'd be crawling out of the place. We'd be fucking crawling out of the place.
Okay.
Like we saw Quiet Riot and fucking Wasp and the club shows we saw them at. Fucking absolutely love that album.
I'm very surprised it's number 3.
Number 2.
It's number 2.
No, number 2. Oh, you're ahead of me. I'm sorry.
That's number 2. Yeah. What do you, Dylan? What's your next one? Sorry.
My number 2 pick. We talked about the lead singer of this band already with BB's pick, John Corabi, BC. He is the front runner of the Dead Daisies, who put out a new album this year. Burn It Down. My number 2 pick. This is hard rock, just encased in a quick 42-minute CD that's just short, sweet, beautiful, amazing hard rock music. They have an awesome cover of the Rolling Stones' "Bitch." Really good song for them to cover. Like, they just nail it, and they nail all the covers they do. They always have like one or two covers per album. The "Resurrected" is a great opening track. They misspelled "Judgment" on Judgment Day. They add an E, but it's still a phenomenal song. There's no bad song in this album. The whole band is just a powerhouse of a supergroup. They know how to come together. They bring the little things that they learned from each of their different bands and combine it into this awesome hard rock phenom. Amazing album, The Dead Daisies, Burn It Down, number 2 on my list.
I agree with Dylan. I mean, here's a phenomenal band, phenomenal lineup. John Corabi, I mean, and they just got Dean Casanova, phenomenal drummer. I mean, and Doug Aldrich. Doug. But like you said, not a bad song on this. I mean, I think it was years ago they first came out, and Steve mentioned these guys, and I was like, oh, okay. I was kind of a little hesitant at first, but you put it on, and like this album, just like the rest of them, just start to finish.
There you go.
Front to beginning.
Front to beginning.
Front to beginning.
And
some of them Burn It Down,
works.
Judgment Day, and I even like the cover of Bitch. It's not the Who.
I got to see these guys again on the Kiss Cruise, and you have John Corabi, Doug Ulrich, Dave Lowy is the rhythm guitar player in the band, Marco Mendoza on bass, and Dean Casanova on drums. And I'll tell you what, Dean Casanova, there is a guy with boundless energy. If you're even just standing next to this man, you could just feel the energy emanating off of this guy. He's fucking absolutely phenomenal. Kick-ass drummer. And the guy can fucking sing. If you want to listen to this guy sing the Journey DVD Live Manila, he sings Mother, Father, and I think Still They Ride on that concert. And they could just tell their singer, you're fired, get out of here. And Dean Casanova could sing all the fucking Journey songs. That's how good of a singer he is. And for as good as a singer he is, he's even a better fucking drummer. And if you think this is a heavy type album, see these guys live. They are way, way heavier live. They're like, I equate them to, if you watch the videos or whatever, watch Winger, you're like, okay, you see them live, they fucking kick ass. They're a heavy ass band live. And they totally tore it up on the Kiss Cruise. Burn It Down is a fantastic album. Resurrected, Rise Up is friggin' great. And if you like the version of Bitch on this album, listen to it live. They absolutely fucking blow the covers off of it. All right, now we're down to our final pick.
Now, before we do our final pick, should I read off BB's?
I was going to do that. That's exactly what I was going to do. Before we get into our final 3 picks here, we'll give BB's top 5.
Okay,
Go from
also
5 down.
Also is number 1 as well?
No.
Okay, so 5 to 2. So number 5, I feel bad now. It's Dee Snider with For the Love of Metal. I gave you yesterday, Tomorrow's No Concern. Fucking kick-ass album. I feel like Dee Snider was thinking, okay, I just did this Broadway cover album. I need to come back with a vengeance, and this is how you do it. Phenomenal album. Shows you a really heavier side to Dee Snider than I think I've ever seen. Twisted Sister's heavy, but not this heavy. Really good. BC.
It's a
what do you
good
think?
album.
It's a good album.
Okay.
That's what
We'll
it
come
is.
back to you.
I'm going to come back.
All right.
Yeah.
Come back to me.
Okay. Number 4, Stryper, we talked about. Goddamn Evil. Great album. Number 3 is LA Guns, Made in Milan.
There's a chemistry between Phil and Tracy that is undeniable. I mean, we've seen all the versions of LA Guns throughout the years. And
And there have been many.
there's been many, but what was that one guy, Chris Van Dahl?
Chris Van Dahl. That was a totally different
That
version.
was
Fucking
like,
LA Guns.
I don't know what kind of version you would say that is. But when they get them together, it's hard to explain.
I agree, and we got to see these guys at the
Last year.
day 3 of M3.
What was it?
The chemistry, it is undeniable.
They
The
come
chemistry
out,
between
it's
those guys, and the only downfall for it that when we saw them live is that Michael Grant wasn't the other guitar player in the band. The guy that was there was kick ass,
Yeah.
but like Michael Grant, who was the lead guitar player in the band before Tracy came back. It is just a great album. It is, and the production is great on the album, I think, but it's still raw sounding. I
Yeah.
think they walked that fine line between raw and good production. It's a great album, and they do, the usual things you kind of see, but then there's also some other stuff on there that you don't usually get. They have. Kiss My Love Goodbye, of course, but then they do Speed, a newer song. Killing Machine they do, which I never thought I'd friggin' see, hear them do that one live. There's a couple surprises on the album. I think it's a great live album.
I did not listen to it, unfortunately.
Okay.
I love the No Mercy, Sex Action, the older tunes, Malaria.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Just, I mean-
Electric Gypsy has friggin' always been a favorite of
I
mine.
mean, you heard them with the other versions, but
But you could feel,
Oh,
you listen to this album, you could feel the energy of these guys back together.
when we saw them, they came out, I was like,
It was like way later than they were supposed to fucking play.
oh, God, yeah.
But it was worth the wait.
worth the wait.
Absolutely.
His number 2 pick is Blackstone Cherry, Rise to Glory. Another album I didn't get a chance to check out.
I like these guys. I mean, they have that good southern,
Hard Southern edge.
hard southern edge to them. A phenomenal live band. I mean, to me, everything they do is good. Can't go around with them.
Yeah, I gave this album a chance when it first came out, and I don't know. It's an album I'm not feeling it for this album. I love Blackstone Cherry, but I think that it all sounds too similar. There's a couple songs that kind of grab me, but it was kind of more of the same from these guys for me. Sorry, BB.
We still love you.
You said what? Couple positive things overall about it.
I did. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not a bad album. It's not a bad album.
No,
If you're a good Blackstone Cherry fan, you will absolutely love this album. And they're not a band that I'm heavily into, but it was kind of more of the same for me. But there were songs that grabbed me. I mean, the guy's got a kick-ass voice. He's got a very distinctive voice too.
Yeah.
And they have that. They're like a heavy Skinnerd type vibe to them. You like how I said it?
Skinner, man.
Yeah, Skinner.
Play some Skinner.
But I'm not saying it's bad. Don't get me wrong. It's just I'm going to say I probably wasn't in the right mind frame because I was listening to that. I'm listening to Power Wolf and
Hatchet. You're all over
Hatchet
that.
and Tremonti
You're all over the
and then
board.
boom, you have Blackstone Cherry thrown
Which
in the
is
middle of it. It was like,
completely
oh, it
different,
was
yeah.
kind of like a little culture shock there after listening to everything else that I've
Jumping in
listened
the
to.
freezing pool.
Yeah, so that is one I'll definitely have to come back to
Once your palate's been
give it a
cleansed.
shot. Yeah, I gotta.
Cleanse your palate, then go to
Yeah,
it.
I need to go on the mountain.
You had too much beer at one time, and you couldn't tell the beers apart.
Well,
can see your
Yeah,
good
the
analogy.
taste-
Good
That
analogy.
is
All
a
right.
very good analogy.
Down to our number 1 picks. Let's
one.
do BB. Wait a minute.
Yeah, we can do BB's. BB's number 1 pick. If you had to take a
all right, wait, hang on. We
Yes.
seem to have a discrepancy.
well,
in
yeah,
the
because you
album
didn't talk
count here.
about. We already talked about that one, and I thought you were going to use that as when we.
All right, let's talk about your number 2 before we get into the number
Which
ones.
was Dee Snider.
So let's
Yeah.
delve into that one.
For
Okay.
the love of metal, which would be
Okay.
That's why I said
All right. So then
that's
we'll.
good.
Okay. All right. I
Okay,
get
you
it.
lost me there.
Okay.
Okay. That was my mistake because I didn't realize we were coming back to that. Go ahead.
Okay, Dee Snider, for the love of metal. like you said. I was a little nervous when Steve said, "Oh, Dee Snider's coming out with a solo album." I'm going, he was just doing that Broadway thing, and
The piano version of We're Not
yeah,
Gonna Take It.
and I heard that, and then there was some footage from him doing the actual Broadway show, and I was kind of like,
BC was getting gun shy.
gun shy, but again, I must have stopped there one day, and I looked at it, and here it was. I said, what the hell, $12, I'll pick it up. I picked it up and went out with the truck, threw it in the truck. I was like, whoa. Like you said, it's very heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say heavy for Dee Snider, but I guess you could say
It was heavy for Dee Snider.
was.
prepare for
very
Widowmaker.
Yeah.
And I was like blown away by this album. Phenomenal. It's just like roll over you, American made at the start of Lies Are Business.
Tomorrow's No Concern, the first song released. Which,
but from start to finish,
yep.
great album. That's my number 2.
Yeah, I love this album. This album came out, I was like, holy shit, wow. And like BC said, I told him, I'm like, dude, you got to fucking listen to this album. Because the last one before that, I thought was okay. Not the Broadway one, the one before that.
Yeah.
I thought was okay.
I always thought
It didn't blow me away.
all the stuff he does is okay.
But this one was like, holy shit. This one just like totally, he raised the bar on this album.
I just got nervous with the Broadway stuff and
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
But
piano
but that
version.
other one before that was good. But like this is just a great, and it's called For the Love of Metal, and
It's metal.
it's named properly.
Yep. So am I doing BB's number 1 pick?
Or are you going to talk about this album at all?
Well, I already talked about it when
we talked about it.
Oh, okay.
said with BB's.
Yeah, let's give BB's up here.
Okay.
Give it BB's number 1.
BC, if you had to guess what band BB has as his number 1 pick,
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Black
Oh, I was just going to say BLS.
Black Label Society,
Oh, we go that one.
Grimace Tits,
Grimace hit.
which I always thought was Grimey's Tits, but it's Grimace Tits.
It's Grimace.
Grimace.
Yeah.
It's not Grimley's, it's Grimey's, but it's Grimace Tits.
Hits.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm black labeled out.
After last week's episode, I'm kind of black labeled out. I actually did not listen to this album
Front to back.
in prep for this.
Okay.
I didn't listen to like not one song. However, I do remember when we did the episode where everyone picked an album, and this was the album that BB picked.
Was this the album? No, this wasn't the album.
Huh?
Was
Yeah,
this,
it was.
This wasn't the album.
It was.
I don't think
We,
this
we,
was.
we reviewed this album. We did the whole thing.
Was this the album?
Yes, it was.
Oh, God.
I picked The Mission. He picked The Mission, which is fucking kick-ass. I don't give a shit what anybody says. BB picked this one.
No, it was Catacombs of the Black Vatican that we
Yeah.
picked.
Oh, no, we did this album, though. We talked
did.
about this fucking
But
album.
This was the album that we talked about on that
yeah, but
episode.
we did that album on another episode, though.
That was it. Yeah.
I know we talked about the whole album.
We may have, but I don't remember.
We did. Maybe not that episode, but I know we did because that's why I didn't listen to it.
Okay, well,
All right, anyway.
I like Black Label Society, and I thought when this first was announced, it was the greatest hits, and thank God.
That's
it
what
was
I
not.
thought. That's
Thank
what I
God-
thought,
It
too.
sounds like it, but I like the Betrayal and the Illusions of Peace. I mean, overall, not bad for Bearded Zach.
No, I thought this album was great. And because I remember when we did the episode, I said that I was surprised that there wasn't as much pinch harmonics on this album, and that I really enjoyed it because The Room of Nightmares, I friggin' love that song. Trampled Down Below was great, The Betrayal. And Love Unreal was even good. I thought it was a great album. Illusions of Peace, I think, was the song that I really liked the most on it. But great album, great pick. Bearded Zach, BLS. Good job, BB. Dylan, you're looking for that episode, aren't you?
yeah, I don't remember us talking about
I know we
this.
talked about the whole album. I know we did. But anyway, your thoughts on it, Dylan?
Well, like I said, I don't know if I'm Black Label Society'd out. I could appreciate what I was hearing was good, but I wasn't enjoying it. You know what I mean? It's like listening to opera. Like you could appreciate the talent involved in it, but like it doesn't resonate with you. You know
See,
what I
that
mean?
crappy Hangover music one killed you for it.
That I think that may be it. I don't want to say for sure, but I don't know. I feel like I'm burnt out.
I think it's me, number one pick, right?
I believe so.
My number one pick of the year is, and I kind of railed against these guys. Not these guys. I'm sorry, the singer. That I said that I could only take him for so long and, blah, blah, blah. My usual pissing and moaning that I usually fucking do.
Yep.
But my number one album, and I've been going back to this album, and I actually put it on the other day again just to confirm my love for this album. The new Slash album, Living the Dream. Slash featuring Myles Kennedy and the Conspirators. Front to back, this album just kicks me in the ass. It's you could hear Slash, Guns N' Roses in this album. Myles Kennedy, I don't get sick of his voice in this. I think it's such a, there's so many, even the slow song on this album kick ass. Songs like, I'm not saying the slow songs, like songs like Slow Grind, Call the Wild, which is the opener on the album, My Antidote, Lost Inside the Girl, which is one of the slower songs on there, is a friggin' great one. Driving Rain is absolutely fucking phenomenal. Sugar Cane, kick ass. One of the most rockin' songs on there, Mind Your Manners, is just blows you away. This is an album that I will be listening to 10 years from now. And that's kind of what I based my picks on. What albums am I going to throw on next year, and the year after that, and the year after that? Which albums am I going to be picking songs off of that I'm going to be putting in playlists for years to come? And like I said, my top four is my solid top four. The other ones I could interchange at any time, but this is an album that I could just, it just blew me away, and continues to do so.
I have one gripe with this album, and I think they should just call themselves the Conspirators at this point. Like, Slash featuring Myles Kennedy and the Conspirators is such a mouthful, and every song,
or maybe
on
Slash
the
and the
album,
Conspirators.
Every song on the album is like the song name, and then it says featuring Myles Kennedy and the Conspirators on Apple Music, and it pisses me off.
I know. But that has nothing to do with the music itself.
No, the music itself is amazing. I think it's Slash's
Dylan's
second.
not a fan of the packaging.
I think it's Slash's second best album after Apocalyptic Love in my eyes.
But actually I have it on double vinyl, and it is a fantastic package of an album.
Yeah.
It's kick-ass.
For me, Slash has always been what makes Guns N' Roses Guns N' Roses. Like, you could take or leave Axl. I think it's Slash's guitar sound that makes Guns N' Roses. And then next
Very
for me
prominent
is
on the
Duff
album.
Space. But this guitar sound is like, you listen to one note from Slash's Les Paul, you know it's Slash. Like, he has that signature sound. And I think he's found such a good chemistry and rapport with Myles Kennedy and the Conspirators. I think they all work so well as a band, and like, it's almost like a resurrected Guns N' Roses, with a singer that can still sing. I enjoyed this album very much. BC, what do you think?
I mean, here's another album out of Steve's picks this year. Reminds me of, it's in the same vein as Blood of the Sun. I cannot get enough of this. Every time I listen to it, you catch something more and more. And like you said, the vocals in the last one kind of like I could take or leave. Myles Kennedy, for some reason, I don't know what's the difference in this album.
I don't either.
It doesn't have that
extra screechiness or whatever, but like, I could never take more than 4 songs of the guy, but now I can listen to the whole album front to back.
I agree with you.
I always liked him.
I'm not busting on him.
No, I liked him too, but after a while, you kind of like...
It got tedious after a while, but I don't know why, but this one I don't mind it at all.
And like, I only got to listen to it fully through maybe 2 times, and like I said, I like what it... And
it caught you.
It has a good feel overall. And to me, it has to have a good feel, otherwise it's no good.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. You're number 1, Dylan.
My number 1 was an album I had as a hidden gem. I first listened to this album, and I was blown away. I continued listening to this album, and I kept hearing more and more that I loved. And honestly, I don't know why I didn't get into these guys before. It's Ice Nine Kills with the Silver Scream. It's a metalcore album. Each song, like I said when I was talking about my favorite songs, is inspired by a different horror movie. So the first track, The American Nightmare, is inspired by Nightmare on Elm Street. There's Friday the 13th, Halloween. But the cool thing about each of these songs are that they have musical cues from the movies. Like in the Jaws one, they have the dun.
The Jaws one is phenomenal.
But they also have like
the radio
lines
call
from the movie. Like we'll be like in 15 minutes we'll be shark bait. And smile you son of a bitch, they also say in there. But my favorite reference is in Merry Xmas, which is based on Silent Night, Deadly Night, There's a line in Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 that became like internet savvy, where like it's a really out of context scene where a guy's walking down the street and another guy's holding a trash can. And the guy pulls out a gun and he goes, "Garbage day!" And then he shoots the guy with the trash can. And they included the line, "It's fucking garbage day." And I'm like, yes.
That's really weird.
But like this album has like a love ballad based on an American Werewolf in London that's really awesome. I already mentioned "It Is the End," which has like a really cool ska section in addition to metal. But each of these songs captures the feeling of the movie that they're based on. Like the Halloween song, "Stabbing in the Dark," is really fucking phenomenal. But honestly, you could pick any song from this album and sing praises to it. I love them all, and Ice Nine Kills, The Silver Scream is my number one album of 2018.
I agree. This is the one I was most looking forward to. Mm-hmm. And I love how it ties in with the movies like the Saw, The Crow, Jaws, even the older ones. I love the music-wise and the way it throws stuff in.
Yeah,
like you said.
little Easter eggs.
My only gripe is sometimes the vocals don't do it for me.
Okay, I can see that.
But other than that, I definitely would dive into this a little bit more.
Very cool album. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. And this was one that I was actually like kind of dreading. I'm like, this is just going to suck. But and I apologize for that because I didn't do what I asked people to do on the show, to listen to the gems that we had. Mm-hmm. And that was actually one of the few that I didn't actually listen to. And I'm sorry that I didn't, because then I would have been way more familiar with this album than I am. But I listened to it probably 5 or 6 times, and it's cool. I like the vibe of the album. I like the theme of the songs. I really love the fucking "Rockin' the Boat," the Jaws song. I think it's just kick ass.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for something a little different, entertaining,
especially if
it's
you're
cool.
a horror movie
if you're a horror movie fan, you will
fan.
definitely be like, "Oh yeah, that was in they said that in this movie," or like, because even in the Rocking the Boat, the Jaws one, you get the da-na, da-na, but then it builds too. Da-na, da-na, da-na. It's really cool.
We're gonna need a bigger. Gonna need a bigger boat.
It's really cool. I think it's a cool pick, and I wish that I checked it out when Dylan threw it out there as a gem. So see that.
Needs a bigger boat.
Listen to the gems, because they could come back and bite you in the ass.
Just like
the show.
Rocking the Boat.
It's like Rockin' the Boat. It's savage.
Cool. All right, BC. Give it up. Numero uno.
It's a reissue of Lizzy Borden. Sorry. What do you mean, boo? We already talked about this a little bit. Godsmack, to me, I mean, this came out. I've been a Godsmack fan since before they even made it big. They played a small bar in Scranton here, right as their first album came out. And I went by myself because, I don't know,
I was working.
Nobody else wanted to go. I said, I'm going to check these guys out, the kick-ass band from Boston. And since day one, I've been behind these guys. And like I said, this album just has such a raw Godsmack with such a mature level.
Yeah.
Blended
It is.
perfectly.
They put it together great on this
Put
album.
it together. I mean, of course, I picked already Song of the Year, When Legends Rise, Under Your Scars, like I said, even for a Miller tune, fucking
It is.
very good. Say My Name, Crankin', and Take It to the Edge. Take it to the edge. But here's one you can throw on over and over and over, and you just, timeless.
Great
To me, it's
pick.
timeless.
Great pick. You guys out there, I want you guys to give me at least, very least, post it on our Facebook page. I want your top 3 albums of the year. If you post your top 3 albums of the year, we will read them out on our next episode. And our next episode is going to be really cool too, huh?
And give you a beer.
And we will give you a beer. If we are somewhere and you guys are there and you posted your top 3, I mean, this is bullshit because we're going to buy you a fucking beer anyways. But we will buy you a beer for just posting your top 3 albums.
Yeah.
We can't let Skip do it because he's going to pick some fucking country album. So it has to be in format.
Journey, Kiss, come on, Queen's right. We listen
All
to
right.
it all.
I know.
He listens to it all. Come on.
But we just love this music so much, you guys, and we're hope that if you guys hadn't heard any of these albums, you guys would check them out. Give us, like I said, give us your top 3. And there's a glaring album that has not been talked about tonight that I think that We should be thrown out of podcasting and rock fandom totally if we didn't talk about this album. And we knew that it would be on everybody's list when we discussed about doing this episode. And we wanted to have a podcast pick. And we wanted to talk about this album, and this is an album that we cannot say enough about, and this is an album that we've been listening to for years, and
we have not been listening to the album for years.
No, that we will be listening to for years.
Again, it sounded like you said.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe I did say that, but I meant we will be listening to it for years. It is, of course, the latest Judas Priest album, Firepower.
Yep.
Dylan.
I was a little concerned after Redeemer of Souls that the heyday of Judas Priest was behind them. It was an okay album, but I don't think Rob Halford was as good as he has been. But then Firepower came out. The songs Firepower and Lightning Strikes came out as singles, and I was like, this is the Judas Priest that I remember. This is the metal band, the beast that is the Priest, come back, resurrected, back to full form. Every single song in this album is phenomenal. The Spectre, of course, is one that really strikes me. But honestly, you could pick any song from this album. It's a perfect album for the metal gods. It's a great comeback album, I would call it, for them. I didn't like the production of Redeemer of Souls, okay?
I like Redeemer of Souls. So, I mean, and I saw it in Allentown that year with your brother. I mean, to me, it was like they continued, like I said, Saxon, they continue to get better. To me, Priest is continually getting, and like, when this came out, it was, like you said, iconic Judas Priest. There's not a bad song on here. Lightning Strikes, Evil Never Dies, Never the Heroes.
Yep.
It's just, there's not a bad song. Even Sea of Red, you can love. To me, I do. It's not like a skipper. Like, okay, I can do with that.
I love this album. When this came out, I'm like, holy fuck! This is the if you want to say modern Priest album that I've been waiting for. Ooh. It's here. Firepower, when that came out, I'm like, oh, cool. Right out of the gate, kind of a Painkiller type tempo song a little bit. Lightning Strike came out. Evil Never Dies, which is one of my favorite Priest songs all over. But this is an album too, though, that if you dig deeper into the album, there is just so much kick-ass shit on there. Songs like The Necromancer. I absolutely, and I know Dylan's not a huge fan of the song, Children of the Sun. I think it is an amazing, amazing Priest song. Rise from the Ruins. I could picture that movie movie. I think I said that before, too.
Yeah.
This song I could picture being on a movie soundtrack. Spectre. Great. Trader's Gate. Oh, my God. What a fucking kick-ass song.
Yeah, it's really
if you guys get anything from this episode and you have not checked out Judas Priest's album Firepower, number one, where the fuck have you been for the last year? Number two, if you have not, sorry for busting your ass, but go out and listen to this motherfucker, because it is, we were all unanimous at this on a podcast here that this is the album that we would all have at a number one. It is Priest, I think, at its best. It is the most song that I think reminds you of more of classic Priest, but it has that Andy Sneap baby edge to it.
Yeah.
And you have Tom Allom that was co-producing with Andy Sneap, and I think these guys, oh my God, if they don't produce the next Priest album, I was going to say Kiss album.
Yeah.
If they don't produce the next Priest album, Steve may just jump off of a fucking bridge or something like that. You guys, so seriously, fucking check if you haven't. Seriously, where have you been? But if you haven't listened to it in a while, check it out.
Yeah,
it is seriously kick-ass.
If you like Judas Priest ever in your life, check this out.
Yeah.
And honestly, just like with Book of Souls for Iron Maiden, if they ended on this album, I wouldn't be disappointed.
I know.
Which I think is a testament to a good album.
Absolutely. And I say the same about Motorhead when they put out Bad Medicine, I think.
Bad Magic.
Bad Medicine.
Bad Medicine.
Oh my God, did I say that? Cut that out,
You can say about Bon Jovi.
Kill me now. I may jump in that fucking river right now.
You love is like bread.
Oh my God. Oh, just fucking shoot me now.
If you like the bad
Shoot me
medicine,
now.
I'll tell you.
Oh God. All right. Oh, I deserve all the ass busting I can get over that one. I deserve that, definitely. All right. Before we roll out to the end here, real quick, BC, best live album in 2018 for you.
I'm gonna come with the late one in here. Steel Heart, Rockin' My Lawn. I mean,
Rocking my lawn. Rocking my lawn.
Rocking my lawn.
Rocking my
Mowing my lawn.
I'm gonna mow my lawn, rocking my lawn. Yeah.
Rock in Milan.
Rock in. Yeah, thank you.
I thought you said rocking. I just thought it was wrong.
I wonder if it's the same. Wonder if they opened up for LA Guns on that show. Because that's a Milan album, too.
Rocking my lawn.
That is a great album, though. That's fucking excellent. I don't know if,
one-
Dylan, if you listen to that. It's fucking excellent. There's like 2 ballads on it, but the rest of the shit fucking rocks on there.
Rock. Oh, the Steel Panther tunes.
That would be in Steel Panther live album. Rocking my lawn. Sorry.
Steel Panther, Steel Dragon.
Oh my god.
All right, Dylan, what do you got? Live album.
Work it out.
It has to be Kings Among Scotland from Anthrax.
Nice. I just picked up
Love
on
that
vinyl.
album. It's so good, and it has the Rock and Roll Over tribute
Roll
cover.
tribute album cover.
So cool. I have an honorable mention, but I don't want to mention it just in case you pick it as your pick.
Ooh.
That is great. That is a freaking great pick. I definitely enjoyed that one. What was that again? I know. I'm fucking with you. It was Anthrax.
Yeah, it was Anthrax.
Great album though. I think it was great. But I want to hear John Bush sing that newer stuff. I really do.
And I have an honorable mention, but I don't want to say it in case you.
And this is probably going to be it. I'm picking the Alice Cooper Paranormal Evening at the Olympia.
No, I completely
in Paris.
forgot about that one.
Phenomenal. Which I don't understand is when Alice Cooper recorded the Paranormal album that he didn't record with his live band. I don't know why he did that. But you have the live band here. You have Glenn Sobel on drums. You have Chuck Garrick on bass. You have Ryan Roxy, Nita Strauss, Tommy Hendrickson on guitar, and Alice. Sorry, buddy, I'm not sure who the keyboard player is in the band. But here you have that kick-ass combination of Alice's band playing classic tunes plus newer tunes. You get Brutal Planet out of there. You get the song Pain, Woman of Mass Destruction. You get on there, Feed My Frankenstein. And, of course, my personal favorite, Ballad of Dwight Fry on there. Just a kick-ass fucking live album. And you okay, BC? You all right? Just a great live album. So check that one out.
Yeah.
Alice Cooper, a Paranormal Evening at the Olympia in Paris. Yeah. Just a great fucking album. All right.
Can I say my honorable mention?
Go ahead.
If you like.
It's Volbeat's Let's Boogie.
Which just came out
It
like
just
last
came out.
week.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
I was telling BC before I enjoyed it, but I only listened to it in the car, so I wasn't crazy about the production of it in the car, but I haven't given it a good check out, though.
Yeah. I like the song selection because there's a lot of songs that hadn't come out with their first live album, like a lot of stuff from Outlaw and Shady Lady.
Right.
That album and
the version of Doc Holliday on there is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. Good honorable mention there. Most disappointing album of 19... Why am I saying 19?
2018.
2018.
Jesus Christ.
It's getting late. Most disappointing,
It
BC.
needs a refill.
I have a.
You have a lot of them?
I have a bag of them.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm gonna go with Enough's Enough, Diamond Boy. I'm
Ooh,
not saying it's a bad album. I'm just saying after their last album is not what I thought the direction they were gonna go in. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Done.
Can I say multiple?
You can say, whatever.
Okay, first one I'm going to say is Bullet for My Valentine, Gravity. Very disappointed in that. They're trying to be trendy. It feels like they're trying to go with the flow, whereas their other albums were just so rocking, and this one's just not feeling it.
A little too much electronica kind of thing in there.
Blend in with everything.
The next one I'm going to highlight is Five Finger Death Punch's And Justice for None. I was disappointed by the album. It wasn't fantastic, I don't think. It fell flat for me, and I like Five Finger Death Punch. Mm-hmm. The next one, and I don't know if this is a disappointment. I just thought it was a terrible album, and I know I'm alone in this one, but Ted Nugent's music made me do it. He does a version of Back Scratch Fever called Backstrap Fever.
Back Scratch Fever?
I'm confused. It's Cat Scratch Fever, but he does a version called Backstrap Fever, and it's fucking lazy. And I think that album as a whole is lazy. He does another version of Fred Bear. He does like 2 different versions of one song. Like if he doesn't have enough material to put out a full-length album, then put out singles. Like
Just
we're
like-
in a world where you could just put out songs and you don't have to fill it with stupid filler like Backstrap Fever. Like you could like take that off a bridge. I don't care for it.
I kind of agree with that somewhat.
I have to agree.
But the songs on that album that are actual new songs are really, really good. But the let me finish,
No, I
please,
know.
sir.
My picks.
The stuff that are the remakes, although the remake of Fred Bear is actually good because it's an acoustic version, which is actually pretty cool. But I agree. There's like a bass solo thing at the end, and then there's some song where he's singing with some lady or something like that. I agree about 80% with that. My picks are my most disappointing ones. We already talked about the one, the Red Dragon Cartel one. I'm
Can I say more than one?
extreme. Yeah, you can say whatever you want. Well, to a limit. You know what I'm talking about.
Wait your turn.
Red Dragon Cartel. And my biggest disappointment is, which is going to be a not disappointment next year, is that Denman didn't release their album this year. And we talked to the guys in Maryland in May. We talked to them, and it was supposed to come out in September. Mm-hmm. It was done. It was mixed, everything, and it's called Denman. It's called Raw Deal. Was supposed to come out in September. It didn't come out, so I'm just disappointed that the album wasn't released. However, it does leave me something to look forward to next year. But give us another disappointment, BC. Come on.
Bullet Boys from Out of the Sky.
Yeah, I agree with that. And enough's
I mean,
enough.
I understand.
They're not what you thought they would be.
No, I understand. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not what I thought it was going to be. And the more you listen to it, it grows. But I mean,
It grows, but it's not Bullet Boy grows.
It's not Bullet Boy,
It's
no.
not Smooth Up in You. It's
No,
not
no.
For the Love of Money. It's not
Show or-
F number 9.
no.
You
It's
can't
not
say
that.
Freak Show. Sunny Pony Beyond there.
I'm sorry, Sonny.
All right, one more thing. What are you guys most looking forward to in 2019?
New beer. Oh, sorry. Music.
They're always making new beer.
There's a bunch of things. I mean, of course, I'm looking forward to Lizzy Borden's going to do some North American shows. American. That's shocking as it is.
There'll only be a few.
And, of course, Denman, Raw Deal. Oh, it's supposed to come out now. And what is it?
March or February.
I have no idea.
And then,
He wrote something down.
And the new Tora album, Bastards of...
Beal?
Bastards of Beale.
Like
That's
like
what it, yeah.
Ellie McBeal?
That's what I said. Bands that put out shit that you can't pronounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I heard one song off it.
Very good.
Very good. So that's
Cool.
what I'm looking for.
Done.
There's one album that I'm very much looking forward to. I'm surprised BC didn't say it. Dream Theater, Distance Over Time, coming out February. I see now that apparently a single was released that I completely missed.
Oh, you missed it?
Yeah, I haven't listened to it. Untethered Angel.
Listen
Good?
to it.
Is it good?
It's excellent. Even I liked it.
I don't know how I missed it, but the album art cover is designed by Hugh Syme, who's done all the Rush album art. Looks really cool.
It was really good.
I'm really pumped for this album. I love Dream Theater, so
I'm trying not to get
I'm
too
gonna
excited.
add that to my library right now.
Listen to it. Oh, my God.
All right, Steve, next year is looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the new Beth Blade and the Beautiful Disasters album. I have it pre-ordered already, and hopefully we will be able to get Beth Blade on the show next year once this album comes out and be able to talk to her. Awesome band. I'm looking forward to the new Last in Line album, and I'm looking forward to the new Queensryche album.
Oh, yeah.
And I already talked about the Denman Raw Deal. So you guys out there, we want to thank you guys for listening. We hope you had an awesome Christmas. We want you to have an awesome, happy, rocking New Year.
Safe.
Huh?
Safe.
And safe. Most of all, safe. Absolutely.
Can't rock if you're
and
not safe.
I want to thank everybody for listening to us out there. I want to thank Skip for spending some time with us here today. I want to personally thank my awesome co-host, BB, who is working tonight, and Dylan. If we make it rock, but you make it fucking roll, buddy. And have a happy New Year, you guys out there. We love you. We will see you next time, and there definitely will be
Next time. Hey, that was insane.
that actually fucking worked.